The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning.
Standard Heating is having their 94-year celebration. They have special offers just for you this February. Whether you need a new furnace or a tune-up, they have something special for everyone. Visit standardheating.com to save today.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show. 93.
The first ever Florida Man Games were held over the weekend. They're like any other sport, except you have to fail a drug test.
New York City subway surfers were recently caught having sex on top of a moving MTA train. Well, I certainly hope they both got off at the same stop. Let me just say something. This is important. I want all the kids to hear this. That's incredibly stupid, and don't do that. But also, wow.
The fast food chain Wendy's has announced it will experiment with a new surge pricing menu next year. So a burger may cost $1 more during the lunch rush and $40 more at 3 a.m.
It is Wednesday, my dudes.
Showtime!
Come on now. Welcome, everyone, to our little radio program, the 93X Half-Ass Morning Show. Word is, Cubby, the word is we're going to have to endure 1 day of actual winter today. Do you think we can get her done?
I think we can handle it. The winter that wasn't 2023, 2024. Although yesterday it was coming down pretty good. It's probably the wind making it look worse, but it was a bit of a winter wonderland.
I like that name. The winter that wasn't.
Kind of that's how it is this year, right?
Can we tough out 1 day of winter before going straight back into the damn 50s? I think we can cut it. I really do.
My day hasn't started that great.
What the hell's going on over there?
I don't like to start on a down note, but I found a pube on the board here. I'm confident that's a pube. Somebody pubed the board.
Oh, you don't pube the board.
Right by the mic button, so they knew that somebody would have to touch that.
I'd like to talk trash, but I have pubed a board.
Have you pubed a board?
Yes, I have. So I can't say anything.
I'm going to guess it's not your pube.
No.
I don't think you do that.
Not from this distance.
No. Somebody's pube was on the board.
That'd be a hell of a shot.
Yeah,
Nick.
you're way over there. That ain't mine.
Yeah.
That's intentional.
You think it was intentional?
I think somebody pubed us.
Should we get some Fresnick people in here?
I already ate it. I was embarrassed. I didn't know what else to do.
And when he finds things, he eats it.
Now we need to wait for your to come out in a stool sample.
Well, but we're trying to talk about pubes here, and you got to get gross.
I'm sorry to hear that, Josh.
Yeah, I found it just a second ago.
I was a big bored puber back when I was a younger guy.
Well, there's folks that deserved it, I think.
That sucks. Sucks when you find someone else's. What's going on today? Marcus Foligno. Marcus Foligno of the Mighty Man Bear Pigs wants to talk to us today. So we said, sure, we'll make room for him at 8 o'clock this morning. We told him we'll even call it a wild update, so we'll find out what he's got going soon enough. I think he and his wife just produced another baby.
That's pretty cool.
Is that? Am I right about that? I was going to ask him about that, but I wasn't positive.
Well, I know they were close, right? So I thought I'd heard the same thing.
Yeah, because she couldn't get on any airplanes during the All-Star break because she was too close in labor.
Is that what he said?
Yeah.
So I thought I heard that they might have made another baby. All right, we'll ask him about that. And we'll find out why he wants so badly to be on air with us.
You know what I think it is?
What's that?
So Dana kind of confirms this, and Dana is he's big timing him. Meaning he'll say, Marcus will say, I'd love to come on the air. And Dana's like, we're going to have to check our schedule.
Yeah, we'll get back to you.
And he said, I thought it was an every other Wednesday at 8 a.m. thing. And Dana's like, yeah, you know what? We're just going to double check that. We're not so sure.
It's every other Wednesday when we feel like it.
And I think that's why Marcus pubed my board. He doesn't like being big time by Dana.
Dude, you could make some money off that pube. If it was Marcus.
If it was a famous pube?
Yeah.
Has anyone here seen a famous pube?
No.
Nobody's been with a famous person? There was a guy that Nick and I knew that claimed he was with Natasha Henstridge. Nobody believes it, but he was quite animate about it.
Has anyone ever seen a famous pube?
I know it's cliche to
I
ask
love
something
it.
like
I
that.
love it. No, I don't think so, Cubby. I don't think so.
Yeah, I can't say I have. Outside of, on television or something.
On the internet?
Yeah, movie or something like that.
Yeah, I don't think so. Can I have some time to think about it?
Yeah. Well, you have a friend that's... Oh, no, I'm mistaken. Your friend was hit on by a famous person. He never went all the way with her.
And this was one he probably should have taken advantage of.
You think really it could have went that far?
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Wasn't just some, innocent flirtation. It could have gone all the way.
I've known the guy my whole life. I saw it in his eyes when he was telling the story. I could tell this was real. This wasn't just trash talking. Famous pubes. I'll have to get back to you on that one.
For folks listening who may have not heard the story about your buddy who was hit on by this famous person.
Scorching hot Hollywood actress.
Oh, absolutely.
Scorching, blazing, nuclear missile hot Hollywood actress.
Is it, is he the type of guy where you'd go, oh yeah, I could see that for sure?
When he was young.
Mm-hmm. And that's when this was, when he was young?
He looks like garbage now.
Oh, he does.
Yeah, this is when he was young. Yeah. He was young. He could portray himself to be someone who had his life together even though he didn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
And still doesn't. But yes, absolutely. It's a damn shame that it didn't happen. Here we go, Cubby. It's 20 plus 24, don't you know? I bet you already knew that.
I was aware, yeah. I have a calendar on my phone.
Oh, Here are some popular things that turn 40 years old. Now that we've hit 2024, here are some popular things that have hit 40 years old now that we've come to 20, add 24. Dana, do you know what else turns 40 this year?
What's that?
Your mother's panties.
Oh, jeez. She's got to buy some new ones.
Yeah. Man,
they're friggin' 40.
They've been through the ringer.
I better do some online shopping for the poor lady.
A lot of good movies hit 40 this year.
Movies that turn 40 years old?
Yeah, there's quite a few.
All right, Indiana Jones plus the Temple of Doom.
Man, did I love that movie. Although it stopped, I couldn't have sleepovers after that. The movie scared me so bad, I watched it at a sleepover.
Come on, you were too old to be scared by movies in 1984.
Well, I was 8. 40 years ago, I was 8. See, I'm 48. Subtract 40, and you get 8.
Your face.
My face? Wobble? That's the face you make when you realize your arithmetic is way off.
Yeah, you were just like, huh? How did that slip?
I was 13. I'm 5 years older than you?
You weren't aware of this?
This is crazy.
I mean, we have known each other for a while.
We have, but I know you've been there as well. You've forgotten how old you are.
Oh, yeah, that was when I thought I'm losing it.
I have forgotten how old I am over the years, and suddenly I forgot that we had an age difference.
Yeah, when I turned, I'm already going to screw this up. I think when I turned 46, I asked my wife, wait, am I 45 or 46 this year?
Right.
And then I thought, here it comes. I'm losing it. Dementia, it's already setting in. Jesus. And I could not for the life of me remember.
I had a whole conversation at the bar one day, assuming it was 2002 when it was 2007 at the time. So, okay, sorry, Wapple, I'm glad you saw my face because it must have been... It must have been something to see. I had completely forgotten that we have an age difference. Okay, you were 8 years old. Indiana Jones plus the Temple of Doom comes out. You watched it.
We had a sleepover. We go to watch the movie, and I couldn't sleep. My parents had to come pick me up like at 11:30 p.m.
That's embarrassing.
Yeah, I know. Well, at 8 I wasn't as embarrassed, but as I got older, I was embarrassed that it stopped me from having sleepovers. It paralyzed me.
I had a buddy like that. He would always get so scared when he wasn't spending the night in his own home. He would get so scared. Romancing the Stone, 40 years old.
I love that movie. That was just some of these movies are popping up like if you have on Apple TV or something, or someplace where you buy or rent movies. They're showing, hey, this turns 40 this year. That turns 40, and that was one of them.
This is a solid list for me because, like I said, I was 13 years old. So the biggest things in the world for me at 13 years old was records, listening to hard rock records, and going out to my neighborhood movie theater. So damn near every one of these movies means something to me. 13, it's a big age for stuff like that.
Oh, very, very big age.
16 Candles is 40 years old.
Loved it.
Ghostbusters.
One of my favorites.
Here's one that never really grabbed me. Police Academy. Never gave two pumps about Police Academy.
Oh, really?
No.
Oh, man, I thought that was funny.
The guy that did the impressions was fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Michael Winslow,
He's
sure.
so
but
good.
Come on. It didn't, the bit didn't get old after 20 minutes.
Not to me.
You could sit there and listen to the guy do his police siren and his machine gun sound effects all day long.
I've watched him do it lately.
To me, it was about 20 minutes, and I had enough of Michael Winslow and his sound effects. But I always kind of felt bad for the guy, because didn't he always kind of look sad?
A little bit. I don't know if he wanted to be the sound effects guy. Maybe he did. Maybe he thought he was more than that. I don't know.
Whenever I saw the guy on television, he hit it big with Police Academy because he could make incredible sound effects with his yapper. And don't get me wrong, that's an incredible talent that he has. But I got burned down on it very quickly. And then when he hit the talk show circuit, after Police Academy got big, he always had a look on his face as if he was saying, this just really isn't the guy that I wanted to be.
I can see that.
But maybe this is the liquor talking and I'm overthinking things. Police Academy. You want to know why? I probably the biggest reason why it didn't become a big hit for me the way it became a big hit for every other 13-year-old in America. Steve Guttenberg pisses me off.
Yeah, you don't like it. Bobcat was in there, and his character was funny.
I liked Bobcat Goldthwait. Steve Guttenberg, and I know he's kind of become a punchline. I'm not just trying to fall in line with everybody else with their cheap Steve Guttenberg jokes, but I always thought the guy sucked.
I liked him.
Beverly Hills Cop, effing legendary.
Yeah.
Turns 40. Splash turns 40. Terrific movie.
Never saw it.
You're too young. This is, by God, Spinal Tap.
Oh, love it.
I've never seen the full movie. I've just kind of caught it when it's been on here and there, but I've never sat down intentionally and watched all of it.
Nightmare on Elm Street turns 40.
Great. Love it.
I never really cared for that. I guess that's another one on the list that I never really cared for.
So I was more into Jason than Freddy.
Revenge of the Nerds. Oh, my damn.
So good.
We as 7th grade kids pretty much thought they could close Hollywood down and don't make any more movies after we saw Revenge of the Nerds. God. Gremlins turns 40. Anyone care for...
I like that movie.
That was one that kind of scared me a little bit too much when I was a kid. Now I look back, I'm like, yeah, it's just kind of hokey.
You probably wouldn't. You and Josh would both be calling your parents for a ride home.
Oh, yeah, I didn't watch it because I heard they put a gremlin in the blender and then the microwave or something like that.
So the microwave for sure.
I love that scene.
I don't want to watch that.
I loved Gremlins. I don't know why they note Conan the Destroyer.
Well, I guess it was...
I mean, Conan the Barbarian was a huge movie. Conan the Destroyer, my memory is that it went into the toilet quite quickly and nobody cared. Maybe whoever made this list is too young to know the difference between Conan the Destroyer and Conan the F me running barbarian. Purple Rain, The Karate Kid, The Terminator was massive for us in 1984. Massive. We're rolling through movies that turn 40 years old now that we've gotten to 2024. Footloose.
I've never seen that one.
I like Footloose.
Oh, you did not.
I do.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, it's so cheesy and dorky. It's what makes it fun. That's part of the charm. So stupid it is.
Okay, that makes more sense.
It's
when
a
you
town
say
that band's dancing, like who does that?
when you say I like Footloose, that leads folks to believe that you took it seriously as a. Okay, if you just find it to be stupid,
yeah, it's just so stupid. It's entertaining.
I watched that for the very first time in my. I think I told you this. Anytime I cross paths with a woman my age, and Footloose comes up, and my whole life I was able to say, never saw it. And these women were like, what? How could you go your entire Footloose with the great soundtrack and the Kevin Bacon? And so I finally said, okay, this year, I think it was a handful of months ago, it came on my television, I watched it, and I could not believe how awful that movie was.
Well, cool. You're saving me some time then. I've been meaning to watch it.
That movie, it shouldn't have made $15. That's how brutally bad that movie is. The Never-Ending Story, never saw it.
Oh, I loved it. Betray You.
The Natural.
Very good.
That was a big one in my household. Robert Redford and The Natural. Here are some of...
well, if you don't mind, there's a couple other movies I really enjoyed on that list.
Oh, go ahead, Cubby.
Amadeus. It was about a musician. I forget who.
Never saw it.
And then Dune. The original Dune. And by the way, I was reading the new one that comes out, I think on Friday. Dune Part 2 is one of the best reviewed movies of all time so far.
Rave reviews.
It's one of the best reviewed movies of all time.
Of all time, yep.
Never saw it, the original Dune, but this Amadeus is about a composer. Was it Beethoven?
I'm sorry, I don't remember. It's been so long since I've seen him.
Tchaikovsky?
That sounds right.
Did it have anything to do with Rock Me, Amadeus?
No.
The song.
Bobby McFerrin. It was Bobby McFerrin, that movie
Amadeus is about the life and times of a composer named Bobby McFerrin.
Correct.
The guy who created the song Don't Worry, Be Happy?
That's the guy.
Okay.
Did you guys like Amadeus?
Never saw it.
Oh, I thought it was great.
Here are some big-time sexy celebrities who turn 40, and you're going to say, oh, well, maybe you'll say, oh, wow, I didn't know they were 40. Maybe you're well aware of it. I don't know. Scarlett Johansson is 40, or will be in the year 2024. Aubrey's Plaza.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize she was that old.
Yeah, me neither.
Not that 40's old, but I thought she was younger than me, and I'm 38.
Yeah, I want her skincare routine.
Yeah, I would have assumed early 30s.
That goofy Paul Dano.
That guy's freaky.
Katy Perry.
Would have assumed older.
And this is the one on the list that makes me feel funny all over, from my head to my toe, when I hear this name. And you don't hear it very often. Mandy Moore.
Oh, I didn't know you felt that way about her.
Oh! I thought she was just the spiciest little pickle of all time. She made some music video back in the day. I don't know what it was called. Albums turning 40 years old in 2024. Twisted Sister? What is that? A pledge pin on your uniform? Twisted Sister, Stay Hungry. 40 years old. I wore that sumbitch smooth out.
Was that their first album?
No!
How old is this band?
They started in the late 70s.
Oh.
With the We're Not Gonna Take It and the I Wanna Rock and the Price and the Beast and Burn in Hell and SMF. It's just such a Madonna Like a Virgin.
Man, my parents let us get the 45 of that single.
That's still one of the most fascinating stories you've ever told us on this radio program, Josh, that you came from this hardcore, straighter than a Grizzlies D Catholic background. You weren't allowed to watch the A-Team because it was too violent and this and that.
The Simpsons too, right?
The Simpsons, I was older when that came out. I mean, my parents watched the Tracy Ullman show, and isn't that where the Simpsons came from?
Yep.
But last time you talked about this, I tried to, you couldn't quite remember why, oddly, it was okay that you guys bought the record Like a Virgin by Madonna.
No clue. My sister liked Madonna quite a bit, and so did we, but that was kind of her thing. She loved Madonna, my parents, because, my sister got whatever she wanted, but my parents got that for her, and I was shocked. I didn't know necessarily. I'm trying to remember. I think I had to ask someone what a virgin was, and it was one of my uncles, and he's like, kind of made fun of me and stuff like that. But I am thinking, I'm in 4th grade. I probably shouldn't be having sex.
So you said, okay, in 84, you were 8 years old?
84.
I was 13. We just covered this.
Oh, did I say I was 8?
I think so. 9?
Yeah, my math was bad.
Oh. Neither one of us knows how old you are.
In 84, I would have been 9.
Oh, yeah, I think that's what you said.
Yeah, I said 8, I think, but almost 9.
There you go. It's twice today, our listeners are saying.
You're confused. My birthday's coming up, so almost 9.
Here's a couple of guys who have no idea how old they are. Okay, so you were 8 or 9. Your brother was...
He was, so when this came out...
84.
I was 8. He was 7.
And your sister was...
6.
Then, so... Why did your parents...
I can't answer that question. With how strict they were about everything else.
It'd be one thing if one of you were 12 or 13. So,
in the title, it's not like something where they didn't get a reference. Like, I remember when Warrant Cherry Pie came out, my dad let me listen to it, and I thought, he has no idea what this is about. Maybe he did, and I don't know. But Like a Virgin, it's got the word virgin in it. So, for the life of me, I can't understand why.
I don't remember if I asked you this the last time we discussed it, but is there a chance, you already said you don't remember, so maybe you just flat out don't remember, but is there a chance that your folks assumed it was a what's the word where kids don't have sex?
Abstinence?
Did they think it was a pro-abstinence message? They were completely in the dark?
Not if they looked at the cover.
On the cover, she's got her jugs hanging out.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a conundrum I haven't figured out. Okay, thank you to the Brotherhood. Now, apparently, the movie Amadeus, I was wondering, I knew it was about a musician, a composer specifically, I couldn't remember. And
I thought it was Beethoven.
Yeah, it's not. It's Amadeus is about Amadeus. Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart.
No, that can't be right.
I'll fact check it in a second.
Metallica, Ride the Lightning came out in 84. That stinking record is 40 now. Which is better than Master of Puppets in my book. I'm just throwing that out there because 8 out of 10 Metallica fans say that Master of Puppets is their ultimate record. I even put Master of Puppets behind And Justice for All on my personal list. I'm not trying to start trouble or anything. Josh's parents bought me the record Ride the Lightning in 1984.
I absolutely love the album art on that.
Ride the Lightning?
Yeah, Ride the Lightning.
Beautiful, isn't it?
So cool.
Just about every swinging D at my high school had that T-shirt.
Mm-hmm. T-shirt, poster.
And my buddy Dio, D-I-O, not because he had anything in common with the immortal Ronnie James. Totally different reason why he was called Dio. But my buddy Dio had a Metallica shirt. He didn't have Ride the Lightning. He didn't have Master of Puppets T-shirt. He had that old Metallica shirt where I believe on the shirt it was a electric chair, and it said Metallica, of course, and then there was an electric chair, and then it said on the T-shirt underneath the electric chair, it said, "Metal up your ass."
Oh.
And he thought he was
pretty badass. I don't want anything up there.
He thought he was cute with that one. Talking Heads, Stop Making Sense, REM, Reckoning, Turn 40, who cares? Bryan Adams, the record Reckless.
Oh, nice.
With the Run to You and the Heaven and the Somebody and the Summer of 69 and the duet he did with Tina Turner. What was that one called? He and Tina Turner.
It's Only Love?
That's right.
My wife and I were in the car and some, I think it was Brian. No, it wasn't Bryan Adams. It was Rod Stewart. Rod Stewart came on.
Stewart up your ass.
And she didn't like Rod Stewart.
Who? This is recently?
This was about a month ago, and I looked at my wife like she was an alien. Like, what do you mean? How do you you don't appreciate him at all? She's like, no, I don't care for him at all. I'm like, at all? Like, there's not one song where you think, that's okay. She's like, no, not a fan. And I kind of was like, well, I don't get it.
That doesn't make any sense.
This isn't the person I married. This is not right.
It makes no sense for anybody to dislike Rod Stewart.
Maybe it's not your style of music, but you hate the guy, you dislike him. How do you go on that? How about just be neutral on it? I don't think much about him. He's all right.
I no longer care for your wife.
You know, It took me a little while to get over.
I never have.
Maybe we need couples therapy.
With Rod Stewart playing in the background.
Yeah.
How do you not like this?
It's not normal.
It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make any sense. I'm glad that you stood up for Rod.
I did. Maybe too feverishly.
In the car you were having?
Yeah, in the car.
I wonder if any couple around your age passed the two of you and saw that you guys going, and I wonder if the guy said, that's a Rod Stewart argument if I've ever seen one.
Well,
that's got to be a Rod Stewart argument.
I don't think you would have saw anger on my face. It was more just confusion and disappointment. I didn't understand. I've never heard somebody say such a thing.
He's never made a song that I disliked. You know what song I even really liked by Rod Stewart? Some Guys Have All the Luck. He's so adorable when he sings that.
He's right.
He's adorable in that song. You know what other albums turned 4? Speaking of Tina Turner, her big record, Private Dancer.
Sexy.
That was massive, that record.
What's
Absolutely.
Love got to do with? That's on that one, and obviously Private Dancer.
Is You Better By God Be Good to Me on that record?
Yes.
That might be the best song she made in the 80s. You better be good to me. She takes a stand and says, you Rod Stewart hating sumbitch, you better be good to me. Wham, make it big. Love Wham.
Yeah.
I mean, I really don't. I don't know much about Wham's music, but I
like them.
I've fallen in love with their story after watching that documentary. You've heard Josh and I talk about Andrew Ridgeley. Iron Maiden Power Slave turns 40 in the year 2024. That's Iron Maiden's best record. It's just top to bottom, absolutely outstanding. Bruce Springsteen, Born in the USA, is a 40-year-old record now.
That's right.
That was everywhere. You couldn't cross the street without some douchebag running you over with a Bruce Springsteen song from the Born in the USA record.
And it's got the cover art with his butt and then the tight blue jeans that all the ladies and me like.
He's got like a weird belt on, doesn't he?
Yeah, weird belt and a hat hanging out of the back of the pocket.
Yeah, the iconic red hat.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I said iconic, but that's the one people think of.
Oh, God, this is great. Our listeners know every effing thing. I was telling you about my friend Dio with his obnoxious Metallica t-shirt. It wasn't an electric chair. It was a toilet.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I've never seen it.
They're texting in and reminded me.
Oh, here it is. Okay.
It was
thank you.
Or was it both? What was it, Josh? Did you look it up on the internet?
Yeah, I'm looking. No, a listener sent it. Thank you for sending this. It's a toilet.
Yeah, there it is. It was a toilet. My memory was that it was an electric chair. I must be missing. Another absolutely perfect record from start to finish is 40 years old as of this year, and that's 1984 by Van Halen.
I don't know. Check the math on that one.
Absolutely perfect record from start to finish. The scream that Dave Roth lets out to start the song Jump still gives me chills every time, 40 years later. Still, I get that funny feeling. Can we play the intro to Jump real quick where Dave cuts loose with that scream?
Yes.
It works every... How does it work every... Defenders of the Faith by Judas Priest. Oh my God, some great records came out in 84. Defenders of the Faith with the Free Wheel Burnin' and the Sentinel and Eat Me Alive and Some Heads Are Gonna Roll. I don't know why they included this one. Queen, The Works record came out in 1984. Now, I'm a big Queen fan, and I mean, I know that record very well with the Radio Gaga and the I Want to Break Free and the Hammer to Fall, but I don't remember it being a big notable record in 1984. Radio Gaga was all over MTV for a brief period. I just don't know. I'm not trying to diminish Queen.
I like Hammer to Fall.
That's a great song. I'm just
one of my favorites.
I'm wondering why it would be included into this. I don't know. Maybe the guy who wrote it's a big Queen fan like myself. So, Hammer to Fall.
Yeah,
terrific.
Out of the Cellar is 40 this year, according to the Brotherhood. I looked it up.
Out of the... How did they not include...
Rat, if anybody's not familiar.
That was huge.
I loved that album.
That's one of the best debut records in hard rock history. Most folks will tell you Appetite for Destruction, and I have no problem with that. That was a colossal album. It was also about the last decent thing that band did. But anyway, Appetite for Destruction by Guns N' Roses. But Out of the Cellar should be in that conversation.
Garbologist Jesus said lame claim to fame. Rod Stewart is a distant cousin.
Oh,
that's
cool.
Not lame. I'd love to say I was somehow related to Rod Stewart.
Yeah, that's weird.
Are you serious?
I mean, maybe I'm going to, like going back to Adam and Eve, we're all related to Rod Stewart in some way.
There's a guy listening to this program who can say that Rod Stewart is family?
Yeah, distant cousin.
That's mind-blowing.
Oh, I can't
Some
believe
guys have all the luck,
they
right?
really do.
Yeah.
Did you meet? There was a couple when we went to Mr. Big last week. There were some listeners we were lucky enough to hang out with, and there was two women who they had VIP backstage passes because they were the lead singer Eric Martin's cousins. Or at least one of them was.
I did not meet them. They are listeners of this program?
Yeah. When the show was over, I was talking to them, and they had the passes, and they're like, hey, Eric Martin's my cousin. And she called it a lame claim to fame, and I said, I don't see anything lame about that. That is awesome.
That's an incredible claim to fame. I had no idea. I
wanted to marry into the family, but she had somebody already. My wife was with me. It would have been awkward.
I want in on that, yeah. Maybe they'll split up. Eric Martin's cousin and Rod Stewart's distant cousin listen to this show. Suddenly I feel like I'm here for a reason. For a reason, Wapple. All right, there you go. What a hell of a deal. Hope everyone's able to stay warm with our one-day winter we have to put up with this week. Like I said, Marcus Foligno going to jump in later. We got all kinds of things planned. All kinds of things. And we'll take a break. We'll come right back on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Half-Assed Morning Show.
They're loud, they lose control, they do their little circus act, they're a nuisance.
93X.
Our experienced and certified technicians at Standard Heating have been trusted to keep our fellow Minnesotans comfortable and confident for over 90 years. We're ready to do the same for you, providing comfort you deserve since 1930.
Standard Heating is having their 94-year celebration. They have special offers just for you this February. Whether you need a new furnace or a tune-up, they have something special for everyone. Visit standardheating.com to save today.
Business has always been a
Stupid news on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Oh, man. To start the show out, a little while ago we were talking about, by damn, it's 20, add 24 already. And some famous records and movies and celebrities are turning 40. And one of those situations where you sit back and say, Jesus balls. Where has the time gone?
We're getting old.
Revenge of the Nerds is 40 years old. Twisted Sister, Stay Hungry, the record is 40 years old. Scarlett Johansson's is 40 years old. How did we get on the topic of Rod Stewart, Josh? You were telling us that your wife somehow, some way, doesn't like anything about Rod Stewart, and this created an argument?
Well, not really an argument, just more I was baffled and disappointed. And I just couldn't understand it, and I couldn't get her just to admit, well, you admit he knows how to write a hit song. She couldn't admit that. So all the chart toppers and stuff, you can't admit that he knows how to write a hit song.
This must have been frustrating.
Well, it's just confusing. I understand, I'm not into her music at all. But I can appreciate that's catchy, or I could see why other people would like it, but it's not for me.
Sure.
She couldn't do that at all about Rod Stewart.
That pisses me off.
It made no sense.
In our conversation about, 40-year-old music, somehow we got on the topic of Rod Stewart, and then Josh has to dump this unfortunate information on us that his wife is a closed-minded person who can't admit the greatness of Rod. A text message came in. A listener says, this is funny. A listener says, when I was a little kid, I thought Rod Stewart and Dudley Moore were the same person. I can understand why.
Yeah, definitely.
They were both very small, very English, and had about the same haircut. They had the same haircut for many years, Dudley Moore and Rod Stewart. You know what else turns 40 this year, Josh, according to a text message?
What's that?
Former wrestling referee, living legend Rob Page.
So does Ag Engineering Jesus turning 40 this year.
Yeah, but Rob Page, dude.
I love Rob. And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to make it seem like I was ignoring that. That's very cool.
That's big.
I just wanted to make sure everyone got the attention that's due to them.
All right, fair enough.
40, how'd you feel about turning 40? It didn't bother me at all.
No, I didn't even think about it. When I turned 40?
Yeah.
Didn't really even think about it.
When I was 28, that's the first time I started to think, oh my God, I'm almost 30. Because I remember in high school when somebody said they knew someone that was 30, you'd think, oh, how much time do they have left?
Yeah.
I remember thinking 30 was so old at that time. And when I was 28, it was my 28th birthday. I remember having some people in their 40s and 50s say, 30, that's nothing, that's so young. And I thought they were crazy. I thought that was the dementia because they were over 30.
Dementia does kick in around 30, from what I understand.
That's what I assumed.
Yeah.
But now, 30 seems like a kid to me.
I hear you. You're right. Has your wife heard Hot Legs?
She's heard them all, Nick. That's why I don't understand what's going on here.
She's heard Stay With Me.
Yep.
Has she heard Rod Stewart and Jeff Beck go back and forth with People Get Ready for the Train A-Comin'?
You know what?
She probably hasn't.
Maybe she hasn't.
Picking up passengers from coast to coast.
This could determine whether or not she's a human being. If I play that for her and she says, okay, I understand.
If she doesn't pick up on People Get Ready, then she has a head injury. An undiagnosed. Can we play a little bit of...
Do you think there's a possibility at this point she's just doing it because she knows how much it irks you?
Well, it was just one and done.
Okay.
So yeah, I didn't want to go. I didn't want to.
Okay.
No. I didn't want to go back there.
Didn't want to go back to that dark place.
No, just because it was confusing and disappointing. Like I felt like I saw a dark side of a person I didn't know existed.
All right. It is time for the stupid news. I'm going to try to focus on the stupid news. All I can think about now is your wife and Rod Stewart.
I know it's faux pas to bring up some hot topics, and I did. I brought up a divisive topic, and I apologize. It shouldn't be divisive. Rod Stewart, we should all agree. If there's one thing we can agree on, Rod Stewart is a talented individual.
One of the greatest of all time. Absolutely one of the greatest singers, performers ever.
Was it his CD or tape that was left when someone stole all your other tapes?
No, it was...
Or was it the other way around?
It's the other way around.
Okay.
I had a massive house party in high school. I had all of my cassette tapes, in a big display, so everyone knew, hey, this guy likes rock and roll, right? You know how you did that when you were a kid? You'd hang it on your wall, this big cassette tape holder. And I woke up the morning after I guess my brother was there, so our beer party. I woke up and I noticed that only my Rod Stewart cassette tapes had been stolen from the house party. And I was devastated. They didn't take any of my Sabbath, Ozzy, Kiss, AC/DC, Megadeth, REO Speedwagon, Boston, Cheap Trick, Journey, The Lover Boy, The Babies. No, I didn't have any else. They just took my Rod Stewart cassettes, and it hurt. It hurt me quite a bit.
You never found out who took those?
No.
Oh. Because, didn't you...
It wasn't your wife, I know that much.
No, unless she was going to throw them away or something. Didn't you solve the mystery of who stole a Walkman from a former coworker of ours in high school?
Oh,
did you ever
Christ.
divulge that info? I forgot. So you did tell her.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. By the way, back to that song. If I could sing like that, I wouldn't be sitting here right now. And if I ever met any of you people, I would treat you like garbage if I could sing like
okay.
that.
I understand.
Dicky Do Trucker Butt Jesus says of, the Rod Stewart we just played, are we about to make love? Well, you never know. It's possible.
I'll make love to anybody to a Rod Stewart song. The story you're referencing, Josh, from the stolen Walkman in high school, yes, I revealed that secret decades later. When I was in high school, I'm standing at my locker with my derelict friends, and I look 2-3 lockers down from mine, and a group of gals are jaw-jacking, and the gal whose locker they were standing in front of, she had the locker door open, and inside her locker was this gorgeous Walkman. Now, I come from a broken down hillbilly family with no money. I never had a Walkman. Here I was 17 years old. I'd never had a Walkman.
I sinned. I coveted people with Walkmans. Wanted one so bad.
I desperately wanted one. So I very stealth kind of shuffled my way. I was impressed with myself. I somehow was able to grab the Walkman out of her locker while these girls were jaw-jacking. None of them saw me do it. And I used that Walkman for 20 years. I only recently threw it away, because it stopped working. So that was a hell of a product.
That's impressive. Wow.
Sony should be proud of themselves. So anyway, years and years go by after high school, and the gal who I stole the Walkman from ends up working in this building.
Oh, no.
In a very important role. Very important role. She was a very high, how do grown folks say this, Josh? She was a big shot.
Definitely. Like a corporate executive type person.
And of course, we recognized each other. Hell, we went to high school together. We were only 4 or 5 lockers away from each other all the way through junior high and high school. So we reconnected. Hey, how you doing? And I think it was when she was on her way out. She was retiring, or not retiring. She's not that.
Yeah, she was your age.
Christ's sake, she's not that old. She was moving on to a new job. And I had to tell her. I said, do you remember? I pulled her aside in the hallway. Do you remember when we were seniors in high school? Do you remember that suddenly you were missing your Walkman? And she said, well, yeah.
That sucked, man.
And she's kind of looking at me as if, how the hell do you know? She said, yeah, I remember. One day I had my Walkman, the next day it was gone, and I don't. And I said, that was me. And I explained.
Came clean.
I told her the whole story, and we laughed it off. And
did you feel better? Well, you probably didn't really care one way or the other.
I didn't really feel that bad in the first place.
How did she take it? Did she find it funny?
She found it very funny.
That's good.
She found it, and she was not surprised because she was well aware of the low level of person that I was then and the low level of characters that I hung out with then.
Now, did you hide the fact that you had it? Meaning like, she might be here, I can't use the Walkman? Or did you just put that sucker on and blast some Iron Maiden?
I kept it. I kept it at home.
You did?
But... oh, Christ, now you got me going. But there was a leather jacket that I stole. Same situation.
You can't do this when I'm drinking.
I know. In 1988, 89, you had to have a leather jacket. And I didn't have the money, nor did my cheap parents. That was at least the image that they portrayed, that they didn't. But they had all the money in the world for beer and cigarettes. But anyway, I desperately wanted a leather jacket. And I knew I was going to have to steal one. And one day I'm walking around school and someone left their locker open, a beautiful black leather jacket in there, and I took it off. I immediately put it on my back. And I wore it to school every day. Nobody said a word.
Oh, shit.
But that's one of those things where I might not know that was, unless there was something, because to me, they all look very similar, if not the same. But unless there's like a distinguishing mark on it.
There was something distinguishing about it.
Uh-oh.
The zipper was broken. You couldn't close the damn thing. So I walked around every day after that in my senior year, maybe junior year of high school. I walked around every day with this open black leather jacket, usually over some flannel, because that was big too.
Oh, so cool.
And I could never, you'd think that no one ever said a word to my mother said something to me. Where did you get that black leather jacket? And I said, I won it. You what? I won it. It was a school thing. And she bought it.
I bet you got more use out of the Walkman than she would have.
Probably.
You seem more like a music person than she.
Do you remember her, Wapple?
I think I do.
Yeah, she didn't like music. She hated Rod Stewart.
Wait, it was Josh's wife.
It makes no sense,
right? It was not Josh's wife, but she was friends with Josh's wife. Josh's wife influenced her too. All right, stupid news. So many of us have lost our minds in the last few years. I mean, some of you have been nuts for way longer than that, but certain events of the last few years have caused many more of us to become certifiably insane. The stress of it all made some of you give way mentally. And if right now you're saying, yeah, tell me about it, you're probably one of them. A percentage of those crazy people have important jobs, like teaching. This here teacher obviously has come mentally undone. In a town called Albuquerque, New Mexico, there's a lawsuit cooking because a high school chemistry teacher brought a couple of swords to school and directed students to fight each other with them.
That's awesome.
That is pretty cool.
I bet no kids complained.
No, definitely not.
And we've talked about something similar not very recently, but I'd imagine it's really hard to, especially nowadays, the way attention spans are just gone, right? So trying to engage these kids, do something creative, have some fun. But this is an example of somebody who got a little too creative. Every once in a while, somebody gets too creative and they get themselves in trouble.
Yeah, what do they call this, flying too close to the sun?
I think so, yeah.
Brought swords to the high school chemistry class and directed the kids to fight. The family of one kid who was injured is suing the teacher and the school district over there in Albuquerque. The kid got a major cut on her wrist and ended up in, the emergency room.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. It was According to the lawsuit, a couple years ago, the teacher told her students that she had a surprise one day, and that's when she hauled out two swords. She had the kids clear their desks out the way. She set a timer and told the kids to take turns fighting each other. Some of the fighting was captured on someone's cellular telephone. And in the video, you can see kids fighting with the swords. You hear them laughing, and the teacher is looking at her timer. I'm guessing she was determining rounds or something like that. The assistant principal over at that school, he claims the teacher had brought the swords into class to discuss the science of metal. Oh, if you want any questions answered about the science of metal, there are two guys to ask. I'd say Rudolf Schenker of the Scorpions and Steve Harris of Iron Maiden. Those are the scientists of metal. But anyway, apparently the kid who got cut up during this in-school samurai showdown had her arm mangled pretty badly. So, that's not what a lot of parents are expecting when they send their kids off to school. There they go, back and forth.
It was so sweet.
It wasn't as cool as swords in the classroom, but we had a history teacher in middle school teach us a pretty cool lesson. We were learning about, wars and why, in ground wars, why it's important to have the upper ground, the higher ground, up on a hill and going down and attacking somebody. So they took the class out to this big hill we had. We all had foam balls. Some kids were at the bottom of the hill, some kids were at the top, and we said, all right, he goes, go at it. And we charge at him. And us on the top of the hill were just smoking these kids left and right as they tried to make it up the hill and couldn't get any ball close to us. It was great.
That does sound fun.
It was good times.
Yes, the higher ground in battle, I have heard, is very important. Oh, that's terrible what happened over there. Josh, I need you to do me a favor.
What can I do? I'm happy to help. I'll do my best.
We've been talking about your wife a little bit this morning and her wrongdoings. You need to do me a favor. The next time your old lady asks you about all the fly honeys you loved before she came around, you keep your hot little mouth shut.
I suppose that can get you in trouble.
For me?
Yeah, I can do that.
You can do that for me. The next time your wife asks you about all your past action, I don't want you to make a sound. Just act like you don't understand the question and then up and run for your life. Because it's a setup, Josh.
Always is.
It's a set.
Actually, do you set people up like that?
I don't intentionally do it, but then I realize, actually, you know what? Don't answer that. This isn't going to end well for you, so let's just forget it.
My freaking wife.
Yeah.
She actually kind of embraces my sluttiness, and she pokes fun at me for it. We have a good time with it. There's no jealousy in our house.
Well, you couldn't hide anything from her because she's known you since high school.
True.
So she knows the story. She knows what's going on.
Yeah. She makes fun of me. Sometimes I see her from across the bar pointing me out to her girlfriends, and I can read her lips. She says, slut.
My wife sometimes will bring up the girlfriends that meant the least to me, as if they're the biggest threat to her. And I'd say, but you have to be careful how you phrase it, right? Because I can't say, oh, no, there was girls I liked way more than that one. I can't say that necessarily. But I do tell her, do you understand? That was my least favorite girlfriend. I don't know why you're bringing her up. Of all the people to feel threatened by, why that one? Not interested at all.
And my friggin' wife, she's a pretty nice person overall. She is. When she talks about my past conquests, when she specifically talks about my past girlfriends, like Josh said, I've known her for 35 years, so she's well aware of damn near everyone I've ever been with, because she's been a friend, a part of my life for a long, long, long time. She liked and still likes most of my ex-girlfriends, but there's a few she doesn't, and as far as she ever goes is to refer to them as silly.
Oh, yeah?
Yes. The ones she doesn't like, she just refers to as silly.
I like that.
Yeah.
Man,
she was silly.
Yeah, there's one in particular that my wife brings up that infuriates me because I'm wondering, how could you, somebody I never really dated, right? How could you think that I'd be into that person? It's frustrating to me in a way.
There's a lot of frustrations in your marriage right now, Josh.
Well, it seems that way. There's really not, but there's a couple that have come to the surface recently. Is there any of the...
I'm always here for you.
Does it your girl or your wife now?
Oh, again with my wife. What do you want to know now?
Does she know of if there was any multiples in there, as in at the same time? Is she aware of any of that? Or am I divulging that right now and I feel bad if I am?
I can't say for sure if she knows about the multiples, but she probably does.
On the flip side,
I probably told those stories, yeah.
You probably are aware of her history as well, correct?
History.
Or does she little more? She didn't hide her.
I think I know.
Like
I think I know, but at the same time, that's none of my business.
Yeah, I don't like to ask.
None of my business, but I believe I know.
Any of them bother you?
No.
Nothing.
I couldn't give two pumps about anything like that. That's, my style. I don't get involved. What you did before I came along is absolutely not my business.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of kind of setting somebody up to fail and that by asking about those kind of things.
So shut up, Ashley.
Last week or the week before, we were talking about unconventional places we've had sex, and I mentioned something about now I'm thinking of these mistakes I've made. My boyfriend came home from work that day and he's like, what ones are you talking about? He's like, how many are there? He's like, tell me the top 3. And I was like,
your top 3 most regrettable sexual encounters?
Yeah, I was like, I don't feel comfortable doing this. I really feel like this is a setup, and you're not going to like any of the answers.
So you didn't tell him?
I did, and he just stood there for a while. He's, with a fake smile on his face, I'm sure, but he's like, I didn't know that about you,
What's he going to do
Ashley?
about it? You called the shots in that relationship.
Yeah, that is true. That kind of stuff, I'm very similar to you in that way, Nick, where somebody's passed, I'm not too worried about it. I don't care if they've had more or less, whatever it is. But things that do get me a little bit, and I know you know the story, but there was a girl I dated who one time said, your coworker so-and-so, he's attractive. There's something about him. And I thought, have you lost your mind? There's so many better-looking guys that I work with. This is one of the most repulsive-looking people I've ever met. And what made it even worse is his personality was twice as repulsive.
Oh. Dude, that still bothers me. Because of everything you just said is absolutely true. This gal friend of yours found the least likable person that Josh and I knew in this building at the time and went ahead and said she thought he was attractive. And I remember when you told me that for the first time, I almost vomited.
It didn't make, I would have rather had her say, just so you know, hey, before you, I slept with every single guy except for him in your building. And I would have been okay with that. But the fact that she mentioned he was attractive, I didn't understand.
I would have broken up with her on the spot. I really would have. That's how sick that made me when I'm like, your girlfriend thought that effing guy? I couldn't fathom how anyone would find that guy attractive.
And I'm not trying to be mean. It just was shocking.
It's more so his personality.
Yeah, the personality by far.
So we're not picking on someone and, whatever the terms are these days, body shaming or anything. This was his personality.
Yeah, and it just didn't help that it wasn't like, yeah, he's got a terrible personality, but I got to say he looks like Brad Pitt. I can see why somebody could maybe ignore the personality because of how attractive he is. I don't know how you ignore that.
And he worked here, so he didn't have money.
That's true.
Well, he claims he was fired for making too much of it. But...
He worked here, so that means he didn't have money.
Yeah, you got to keep in mind, this is 90s radio. It was different for everyone but me and Nick. But yeah, he did claim he got fired for being too
much. Was probably living with his folks.
It wasn't Ross. It's not Wapple.
Oh, God, it wasn't.
Yeah.
No.
Now I know what you're talking about. That's gross. Whoever said that is gross.
I agree.
Your girlfriend was gross. Ashley, I want to get back, if you don't mind. I want to get back to these worst 3 sexual encounters that you've ever had. you almost told your boyfriend about, or wait, you did or you did not?
Yeah, I did.
You did tell him.
Yeah.
How bad were they? Because the reason I ask you, because if I told you my worst 3, it would probably make you sick.
Ooh, and was his face so shocked because he was one of the 3?
No.
You regretted that one.
How the hell? He's thinking, how the hell did I get into the bottom 3 already?
Yeah, and were these 3 on separate occasions or all in the same action?
They were separate occasions. Yeah.
How close, like days apart? How close are we talking?
I had a slutty year there. So
you don't
probably
have
all
to
within
give
a
us
year.
the specifics. I'm just asking, on a scale of 1 to 10, how bad were your worst 3 sexual encounters?
Maybe like a 7.
Okay.
Especially if I think about, try to like speculate what yours would be, and I'm guessing yours are a 10. So
yeah, here's the thing. Maybe some night when we're drinking, we can trade our personal bottom 3 sexual encounters. And what we're referring to here isn't like the other, at least I'm assuming, Ashley, I'm speaking for both of us. We're not saying these people were necessarily ugly or terrible at sex. We're we're ashamed of ourselves. Is that what we're just...
yes,
right.
It has a lot to do with the situation that surrounded like getting to that point, getting to sex.
Okay. Maybe some night we can trade these back and forth. I bet you mine are worse.
Oh, I bet.
I wanted to share one more thing about this guy that my girlfriend at the time was attracted to. One more, just to give you an insight into the type of person he was. And this is one of many, many stories we could tell about this person. There was a time, there was a particular girl that I knew he wanted to get with. Bad.
Wanted to get with.
He wanted to get with.
Sure, I understand.
And he, one drunken night, started crying and told me if I don't make it happen between he and her, he was going to do everything in his power. And he had power. I mean, he probably could have made this happen if he really wanted to. Everything in his power to get me fired.
Oh my God.
If I didn't somehow become a pimp and arrange sex between a girl I knew and him. And again, this is a grown man
who's crying.
Oh.
Why is he crying? That makes it so much creepier.
Yeah, this was... This was not good. It was not good.
On the list.
All right. So here's why I'm warning all you bros. When your lady asks you about your past hot mamas, don't make a sound. Don't make a sound. Just run. A lady in the by God Philippines. This really happened. She asked her boyfriend about his body count. That's the term folks use now for the number of past sexual conquests. Body count. She asked him about his numbers. He told her the truth. She didn't like the number. So she stabbed him in the penis with a broken scissors. No. It's a setup, boys! Run for your lives! This couple, the dude and his obviously mentally unhinged girlfriend, they were in effing public too when she put a punch hole in his dong. She put a few of them in there. They were having drinks at, how do you call it, an outdoor cafe. Says here the dude came clean about all his past hot mamas because she asked. She asked.
Yeah, he's not gonna lie.
And the word is, this girlfriend stayed calm for a few minutes.
Oh no.
No.
And then she flew into a rage.
That's worse.
Flew into a rage. He thought it was over. He's having his club sandwich or whatever he was doing at this stupid. And then she grabbed a pair of broken scissors from Summers. There just happened to be a broken scissors laying around. And she speared his little pecker with it repeatedly.
Oh.
Pop, 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 pop.
Must have been an awful scene. Awful.
And then she ran like the wind.
Yeah, you're right. It is scarier that she had time to think about it, and then that's how she responded.
Yep.
Instead of an instant reaction that she could maybe apologize for later.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She had the time to sit on it for a little bit, and she still decided to go the broken scissors to the penis route.
So she asked, and if you're asked, is there like a number where, like some parameters for an answer? For example, let's say your number was 1. You've had sex with one person before this. Do you worry that maybe they're going to consider that not enough for the... And then also on the flip side, you had quite a bit that maybe would shock this person. So do you raise it in certain circumstances and then lower your body count, or do you just be honest?
I understand where you're going with all this, Cubby. But the only answer is, it's none of your damn business.
It's very endearing to me when a guy only has like 1 or 2. But on the other side, I went on a date with a guy, or a couple dates, and his was like in the, maybe like the 30s, 40s. And it didn't bother me at all because I thought, oh, okay, well, I bet all of them are like meaningless. It kind of like, I don't know, it made me feel better, if that makes sense.
So you guys did have that conversation within the first couple dates.
Yeah. I mean, it's more of a fun thing. It's not like setting them up.
The only answer is none of your damn business. Well, Catfishing Jesus texted in, it wasn't a club sandwich that this guy was eating when he got stabbed in the D. Catfishing Jesus says it was one of those, Wapple, you've had one of these before, one of those fresh catch fish sandwiches.
Oh, delicious. Especially around this time.
Other folks in town, so here's this guy, his pecker bleeding. He was kind of in shock and wandering around town in pain and with wiener blood pouring out of him. No. And other folks in town called the cops. Can you see the guy just drooling walking down the street? Because the gal ran away, and he was in total shock. The cops got little Miss Pecker-Wrecker. She lives with this guy that she stabbed. They know each other. Doctors did all they could to help the guy's little dongski. It looks like, they say it looks like Frankenstein right about now, his penis. They have high hopes it will survive. You effing chicks, man.
They live together. So they must, I mean, I imagine they've been with each other for a while.
Hopefully.
Shady-ass chicks, right when it seems like everything's cool, you go and do something like this. Not cool, Ashley. Pass that on to the leader of your people.
Right.
You tell her that this will not stand.
What do you think of this rule from part-time electrician Jesus? He said there's a rule in his house where if he's ashamed, it doesn't count as a past sexual experience. You can't count that one. I'm ashamed of it.
You don't count the ones that you are ashamed of.
Yeah, that just, you take that right off the list.
Jesus,
that's a scratch.
That puts a whole new number on my body count.
What do you think? Cuts it in half? Where are we at?
Jesus, look at the time. I had no idea what time it was. I feel like a damn jackass. Just a fool is how I feel right now, Josh, because I didn't know what time it was.
Well, it's, you're having fun. That's good. That's a good problem to have.
Half-assed morning show.
They're loud, they lose control, they do their little circus act, they're a nuisance.
93X.
Our experienced and certified technicians at Standard Heating have been trusted to keep our fellow Minnesotans comfortable and confident for over 90 years. We're ready to do the same for you, providing comfort you deserve since 1930.
Standard Heating is having their 94-year celebration. They have special offers just for you this February. Whether you need a new furnace or a tune-up, they have something special for everyone. Visit standardheating.com to save today.
America starts the day with America in the Morning. Hi, I'm John Trout, your host for the latest news, politics, entertainment, business, and weather. Our staff of correspondents provide a fast-paced look at the world with specialized reports from where news happens.
In New York, I'm Sue Aller.
I'm Charles Tiladesma. Sagar Meghani, Washington.
I'm Jennifer King.
I'm Clayton.
I'm Kevin Carr.
I'm Archie Zaraletta.
Concise, accurate, and fresh each day.
America in the Morning, the podcast, available wherever you listen.
Half-assed morning show. 93X.
To all of our Burnsville police and fire staff,
We continue to grieve with you, and we will continue to dedicate all of our strength and support to you and the families of Adam, Matt, and Paul. Your strength in the face of this tragedy has been humbling. Chief Schwartz and I have never been so proud to be able to work alongside all of you. We know that the people from Burnsville, across the state, and truly from across the country want to help honor officers Matthew Ruge and Paul Elmstrand and firefighter paramedic Adam Finseth. We know this because we've heard from people across the state, across the country. We truly have. It's been loud and clear.
In response to intense public interest, today's memorial service for the 2 Burnsville police officers and paramedic fatally shot during the February 18th standoff will be live streamed. The service is scheduled to begin at 11 a.m. at Eden Prairie's Grace Church, which has a 4,300-seat auditorium, as organizers are anticipating an unprecedented attendance. The public is also invited to watch a stream of the service together at Prince of Peace Lutheran Church in Burnsville, or you can watch the service on Fox 9, their streaming platforms. There's also links to watch the service on 93x.com, the City of Burnsville's website, and grace.live. The community is encouraged to show their support by lining the route for the procession, which will follow the service in Eden Prairie and end in Burnsville. That procession route can be found at 93x.com if you'd like to show your support. School for all students in the Burnsville-Egan-Savage District will be canceled today for that ceremony.
That'll be massive.
Yeah, it's going to be. And the community stepped up, and it's very touching when you see some of these tributes, the people they've been talking to on the news, and all the other departments going to take over the calls in Burnsville so their officers can grieve appropriately. Yeah, it's been touching. So I'm sure today a lot of emotion and a lot of show of support. There are some scary moments for a woman at a Washington State gas station after 2 masked men tried to grab her while she stopped to fill up last week. A clerk said the woman was parked at one of the pumps and walking through the lot when a man jumped out and grabbed her.
A lot of students live around this area. It's very dangerous for them to be walking late at night or even early in the morning.
Federal Way Police said the incident happened early last Tuesday morning about 12:20 a.m. One of the men was wearing a ski mask. The other type was wearing a type of medical mask. The employee believes they saw the woman walking alone and took advantage, one of them grabbing her by the sweatshirt. However, police said her boyfriend was in the car and reportedly jumped out to confront them. The suspects didn't realize a man was in the car with her, and when they saw him, they released her and took off in a vehicle bravely. Police say the vehicle reportedly had no plates, and that investigation is ongoing.
Jesus Christ.
3 teenagers have been arrested in connection to more than a dozen robberies in Minneapolis on Sunday alone.
What's so deeply concerning about it is just the volume of crimes these groups of kids are committing right now.
16 robberies in which MPD believes at least 3 to 5 teens approached victims, threatened harm using a gun in 9 of the 16 incidents, and demanded personal items. Victims were robbed of purses, cash, credit cards, identification cards, cell phones, personal lubricants, and vehicles.
5 or 6 juveniles with masks on run up to someone and rob them, put a gun in their face, and it's over in, 30 seconds. It can be difficult for a victim to try and make an identification.
The last robbery, a carjacking, happened at 9:24 p.m. 4 of the robberies happened within 18 minutes of each other.
They were fleeing in 2 different cars. We recovered both of them. And one of the cars that was fleeing had just been carjacked at gunpoint right before we started chasing it.
The Minneapolis Police Department believes at least 2 suspects remain at large and are urging the public to report suspicious activity. Then in New York, a bicycle riding bandit robbed at least 7 people on Manhattan sidewalks and parks, ripping cell phones out of the hands of unsuspecting pedestrians. In a similar recent string of thefts, a crew of brazen moped-riding robbers have snatched phones from their victims' hands before speeding off. And in a Sunday night spree, e-bike riding groups of thieves terrorized Central Park, targeting 4 people in a little over an hour while boasting to one terrified victim, "I rob people for a living."
That's what I do.
That's just me. That's who I am.
Sounds like Omar from The Wire.
Yeah.
This is my job. This is the one thing that I do.
I loved Omar.
Me too.
Never saw it.
If you live in Minneapolis and are feeling a bit lonesome, ironically, you're not alone. Minnesota's largest city ranks among the nation's loneliest, according to a new report which analyzes the percentage of single occupancy residences in the U.S.
Loneliness is big in Minneapolis, you say?
Yeah, it's kind of, I don't know. This is
well, if you want some action,
a little ticky-tacky.
Get in your car and drive around town a little bit.
Yeah, you'll find somebody that'll just come up to you.
Yes, they will approach you.
They will give you some attention.
Mm-hmm.
The Chamber of Commerce say if you enjoy the company of people under the age of 13 holding a gun, humbling you. The Chamber of Commerce...
That's a damn shame.
A company that writes guides for small business owners found that nearly 44% of Minneapolis residents live alone and ranked the city 9th on its index. Washington, D.C., where about 49% of its residents live alone, topped the list. In Minneapolis, the Chamber of Commerce found that 1 in 4 men live alone, which is about equal for women. The report doesn't take into account any of the other metrics to make its claim that residents of the cities are lonely. Another study, this one from Wallet Hub, ranks Minneapolis as the 13th happiest city in the U.S. based on average income, where residents fit on a physical and mental health index, and more. Still, the U.S. Surgeon General's office suggests loneliness can lead to an increased risk of heart disease, stroke, or the development of dementia.
Well, that is quite serious. Did they mention anything about the loneliness of the long-distance runner?
They didn't bring that up. But anytime you mention lonely, you should, or only the lonely. There's a lot of ways you could go. The Beverly Hills Police Department is investigating after a Southern California middle school reported students were allegedly involved in creating and sharing nude images generated using artificial intelligence. The images featured the faces of fellow students. The bodies were taken from the internet. The district didn't specify the number of students impacted by the AI-generated imagery, but said in a statement more victims are being identified and they're taking every measure to support those affected and to prevent any further incidents.
The fact that the perpetrators are minors might mean that there's leniency here or certain types of attempts to keep them out of the incarceration system, but it wouldn't mean that they could not be punished at all.
AI photography has been on the rise in the last couple of years, and explicit AI-generated images have been a growing concern in schools and among parents, teachers, and administrators.
Awful young to be acting like that, Cubby.
Yeah, I mean, and there could be some big trouble for these kids. Really big trouble. A Florida man who stashed fentanyl in a patrol car during a drug arrest and who was also hiding fentanyl in his anus has been sentenced to 7 years in prison, where he'll have ample time to secure things up his buttocks. The incident happened last February when deputies searched 33-year-old Robert Whitaker's home. Whitaker, who is on probation for drug charges, was arrested and transported to jail. Once there, a cavity search was being conducted when a chunk of purple powder fell out of his anus, read the report. That powder
fell out?
Yes, it fell out. Maybe when they tell you to kind of like, spread them.
God, no.
The powder was confirmed to be fentanyl. Deputies later found that Whitaker also stashed a large quantity of fentanyl under the rear seat of the patrol car while being transported to jail. In-car dashcam footage, it confirmed while handcuffed to the rear, in the rear, Whitaker reached into his rear and pulled out plastic bags and stuffed them in the area where the seat belt goes into the plastic molding of the seat, the report read. The patrol car was immediately secured, but the plastic bags tore during the process, putting butt drugs all over the place. The residue covered the area under the seat, requiring the car to be out of service for nearly 3 months until it could be professionally cleaned.
Professionally? What a mess this guy made.
Yeah.
With his butt drugs.
Wouldn't you be terrified if you found out your butt drugs just kind of flew out?
Yeah.
Just definitely.
Fell out, you mean?
And it's like it busted open and whatnot.
That'd be terrifying.
Sure, yeah. That man, I don't know if any of this is true, but don't we hear stories from time to time that that kills folks dead? They're smuggling drugs in their can and it gives way. I don't know if that's just old, silly rumors or what, but Yeah, you suddenly realize you've taken all the heroin in town, you know what I mean, at one time.
A tourist on Hawaii's Big Island narrowly escaped death over the weekend after his rental Jeep plunged more than 50 feet from a cliff into the ocean. I bet that was scary. The man miraculously survived with only a few scratches, and they call it slight hypothermia. They told rescuers he'd driven to a cliff near the island's southernmost point. Now, he wasn't supposed to be driving there for this very reason. He said he wanted to watch the sunrise, so he did some off-roading. Spear fishermen who were waiting for the sun to rise as well reportedly witnessed the plunge, saying the vehicle tumbled down, landing on a rock inside the ocean. The Jeep had its driver's side pinned, so the man inside had to crawl out of the passenger side and swim against strong ocean currents until a rescue helicopter arrived to save him.
He was floating on his back about 80 feet off of shore. Our personnel were able to coach him in. He was able to swim to a safe area.
Police believe if it weren't for the fishermen witnessing that incident and calling 911, the man likely wouldn't have survived.
You're just sitting there doing some spear fishing, right, Cubby? And then a Jeep goes sailing over your shoulder.
Just flies out of the sky.
And into the ocean.
A sequel to the 2019 sci-fi movie Code 8, Code 8 Part 2, now streaming on Netflix, starring cousins Robbie Amell and Stephen Amell as superpowered humans Connor and Garrett. They put together a crew to rob a bank. Code 8 Part 2 is about Robbie's character Connor, who tries to stay out of trouble when he gets out of prison, but a series of circumstances forces him to turn his old crew and go on the run.
The Amell acting brothers?
Cousins.
They're acting cousins?
They're cousins,
you know this talented family, Josh?
I know one of them. I think Robbie could be Steven.
Those talented acting families like the Wahlbergs, the Van Pattens. A lot of you don't even remember the Van Pattens.
The Penns? What about the Penns?
Rob and Chad Lowe.
Oh, the Lowe's, sure.
That's right, the Lowe's.
The Murrays?
Bill and his brother Leroy.
Larangelo?
Yeah.
Sheens?
The Sheens?
Ooh.
The Stallones?
Yeah, the Stallone, another good one. The Howards.
Oh, yeah, Ron and Clint.
Clint and Ronald.
Racing legend Mario Andretti. 84 today, believe it or not.
Still probably raking in 25-year-old models.
Oh, dude, and he can beat up any one of us, I bet. Salty Millennial Jesus is checking in on his way to Mayo and wanted to shout out his guys at Cat in Richfield and safe travels to Traveling IT Jesus heading to Albuquerque this morning. And that's 93X News.
Care 11's Randy Shaver.
Wearing masks and robbing people in these back streets.
On the Half-Assed Morning Show.
2 seconds left. The Cavs are out of timeouts. They have to go 94 feet. Strus from midcourt. Oh! Do you believe this? Max Strus from midcourt has won it for the Cavaliers.
Max, you aware that 59-foot buzzer beater is the second longest game?
I heard
of
it was
buzzer
60.
beater.
Why you cut me short, man?
60-foot buzzer beater, second longest in NBA history right there.
Yeah, that's what they just told me back there, so pretty cool. But if it ain't first, you're last, in the great words of Ricky Bobby.
If you ain't first, you're last. You know what I'm talking about? That phrase is trademark, not to use the other position of Ricky Bobby.
All right, then. Let's see what the dudes are up to. Randy Shaver, what are you up to?
I'm not up to anything.
What about you, Brad Ryder?
I just got back inside from helping the leaf blower guy.
I'm glad you guys are friends now. That's awesome.
Yeah.
You weren't really hanging out with the leaf blower guy, were you?
No, I wasn't, but he was out there about 15 minutes ago.
God, that's awesome.
I hope he comes back.
He's become the biggest star that this radio show has ever known.
What do we hear in the background? Is someone vacuuming? It sounds like there's...
No, I'm going to turn this off. Hang on. It's my little space heater, which I got going, because apparently now it's January again.
Yeah.
Can't
Only
make up
for
its
one
mind.
day. It's okay.
We're kind of getting pumped by one day of winter here.
Yeah.
And then we'll go right back to Randy Shaver's type of weather where it's in the 50s and 60s.
Yes, sir.
There, I turned it off.
Space heater, leaf blower, everything's going on over at Brad's friggin' joint. All right, there you go. Who hit the big buzzer beater there, Cubby?
Max Fuse. Struce, I'm sorry. Yes. Max Fuse is somebody I went to high school with. Oh. What's up, Max?
Shout out, man.
I just pulled a Nick there.
Wouldn't that be amazing?
Yeah, you know what? If a 48-year-old guy could hit one of those, that would be cool, yes.
I missed that. That was an NBA game. I recognize the name, Max Struce.
He's a Cavalier.
Cleveland Cavalier. I've yet to see them this year, and I understand they're just curb-stomping teams up and down this year, the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Well, the last 2 months especially, they've been on a tear.
They're coming to town, I thought, here soon enough. I thought they were coming to town maybe in the next few games. All right, cool. Big buzzer beater. I thought you were going to play that high school, dramatic high school stuff. Or I guess I should say, I thought that's what I was hearing at first. We'll get to the Timberwolves here in a minute, but you, Randy Shaver, you made a living following high school sports, didn't you?
I certainly did.
There was a great ending to a high school basketball title game in, how do you call it, Philadelphia. A couple of Catholic schools playing for the state title, I think it was, but I can't be. The city championship, doesn't matter.
The Catholic championship.
What do you mean? Really? Specifically, they have a Catholic championship?
Yeah.
I'd like to win that.
Yeah,
I'm the most Catholic.
Yeah, you would win most Catholic tournaments. You would win.
They used to have that here in Minnesota.
I didn't follow that.
Many, many, many years ago.
Many years ago. So this was the Catholic championship of boys high school basketball in Philadelphia.
Yep.
Correct.
You got it there.
Kid hits a dramatic shot. Oh, a three-pointer to give his team the lead with just 8 seconds left, and then the other team comes right down. Kid hits a jumper just inside the three-point line. They say this is as good a final sequence as you'll see at any level of basketball. Did we fire that video up onto our website?
It's up there.
See how the Catholics do it, Randy.
Sorber goes baseline. Everett for the lead. Bang! Bang! The clock still runs. Roman Catholic has one timeout. They don't call it. This is for the win. Yes! Unbelievable. Yes! Cabe Goss!
The band is on the field. Those Catholics, I'll tell you what, you hear how loud they got right there?
They're going nuts.
Yeah. All right. Wolves started slow last night, but they turned things around and beat the San Antonio Spurs by 9 at home.
Had to overcome a couple of things. I mean, the injury situation with both Edwards and Kyle Anderson, and the fact that Cat didn't play last night for personal reasons.
Kind of a sad deal, what I understand.
Yeah, I think it's a mourning a friend, a death of a friend.
That's what I understand. Carl didn't play last night. And there's a possibility he doesn't show up tonight either because a good friend of his passed away, which is terrible. Yeah, Edwards, you know, I didn't really think it was anything too serious when he twisted his ankle. It looked worse than it was.
Anytime he goes down, though, there's going to be everybody's going to hold their breath.
There'll be a little bit of a panic, no doubt. Yep. He came back, scored 34 points. Rudy Gobert had another great game. Right. In his matchup with Wembanyama,
yes,
he made Wembanyama look like a 9-year-old out there a couple of times. Really, honestly, Rudy even had some decent low post moves and dunked on Wembanyama. That was fun to watch.
San Antonio is their own worst enemy, though. I mean, they turned the ball over way too many times. I think the Wolves had like 30 points off of turnovers last night.
That is exactly correct.
San Antonio, once they figure out how to take care of the basketball and maybe get a few more pieces around Wembanyama, they're going to be pretty good.
I don't know how many turnovers the Spurs had in the third quarter, but it was a lot.
Yeah.
It was almost every other trip down the floor. Credit the Wolves defense for, knowing these guys are a little sloppy with the basketball and, jumping into some passing lanes and such, but they turned the ball over like a sumbitch last night. And Wembanyama didn't really do much. Like I said, Rudy even schooled his ass a couple of times. The boys have won 6 of their last 7 now, the Timberwolves have. And, Kyle Anderson left the game and didn't come back. And as we've noted many times on this program, he's a very valuable member of that club.
Yep, exactly.
Worried about Kyle. They got a game tonight, back-to-back type of a situation, the Memphis Grizzlies. Is everybody hurt on that team?
They've got Jaren Jackson back, but
I thought I saw an injury list last night where Morant and Bain...
they're pretty banged up.
Okay.
Yeah,
they're not even sniffing the play-in situation. Kind of like San Antonio. I would classify this as a soft part of the schedule.
So Morant not going to play. Bain, this is what I'm reading.
Yes, Desmond Bain is still out.
Right.
I mean, Jaren Jackson is back, but
he can play.
They're short quite a few people.
Here we go again. SB Nation, the website SB Nation. 6 NBA teams who can win the 20+24 finals. They ranked them from 6 to 1 as to how likely it is that they win the NBA final. These are the teams that are credible threats to win the title, 6 to 1, and they have a reason why they'll win it all and a reason why they'll fall short. Number 6 is the Timberwolves. Why they'll win it all? Size and defense.
Timberwolves. Okay.
Why they'll fall short? Crunch time scoring, clutch scoring. Yeah, we've seen that a few times this year. We have. Number 5, the Milwaukee Bucks. Why they'll win it all? The Greek Freak. While they'll fall short, they don't have much for defense and depth, according to SB Nation. 4, the LA Clippers. That would make me vomit. Although I would feel great joy for people who have been loyal to the LA Clippers from the word go, because they've been mostly a miserable franchise their entire existence. I cannot stand the sight of James Harden. I have a difficult time sometimes with Russell Westbrook, Paul George. Who am I missing? Kawhi Leonard. They all just kind of aggravate me. So why the Clippers will win it all? They have great isolation scoring.
Yes.
Why they won't? They have injury problems, and they don't have an elite big man. Number 3, here you go, Randy. Letter Buck, the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Yes, sir.
Why they'll win it all. Well, they get very specific here. Why the Oklahoma City Thunder will win it all? They have great spacing. And I get what they mean, but that's kind of a dorky reason why a team would win it all.
Yeah, but they're disciplined in that way.
It's almost like they couldn't figure out a reason, so they decided to put great spacing.
Right.
Well, I mean, I think there's
I know what they're saying, though.
They're a very good team. I think that's kind of.
Yeah.
When you say something like that, that's.
I could come up with some better answers than spacing. Why they will fall short? They're not great at rebounding. Number 2, the Boston Celtics. Why they'll win it all? They're the most complete lineup in basketball. They say why they won't. They have injuries. And number 1, the Denver Nuggets. Why they'll win it all? Nikola Jokic.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And they say why they'll fall short. They're not the greatest three-point shooting team in the world. And Jamal Murray is still battling
banged up
injury.
I'd feel a little slighted if I was Cleveland.
I would too.
Not being in that list. I mean, they're 38-19.
I hear what you're saying, Brad Ryder. All right, you guys know how I bitch up and down. I do about the officials in the NBA. But I saw at least a headline and a small amount of a story from Deadspin that kind of woke me up. I'll bitch up and down about the NBA officials, I will. But then I saw this article. The article is titled, "In Defense of Bad Officiating." It's not specific to the NBA, but I think that's more or less why they wrote the article. Some of the bad calls we've seen lately, we've talked about them on the radio show. The article from Deadspin, "In Defense of Bad Officiating." They say, poor refereeing is the world's last unifying force. Why are sports fans so eager to eradicate it? And that is a good point. Although I do go nuts watching poorly officiated NBA games, I would miss it if it was gone forever and every game was perfectly officiated. I would miss it. I never took the time, Josh, to really sit back and think about such a thing.
It's kind of like that sign that sits outside of Tom Reed's during March Madness that says, "The referees are terrible. Come on in and have a drink."
I never noticed that.
Yeah.
That's good.
I mean,
I think sometimes if things are too clean and perfect, they're just uninteresting.
Very
you
true.
need some of this.
Yeah.
Very true.
Think about our coworkers and people we work with around here. If everybody did exactly what they were supposed to, it wouldn't be fun. There'd be nothing fun around it.
If everything was so clean and perfect, when things are too clean and too perfect, they become uninteresting. Josh, I think you just broke down why amateur porn became so popular. Suddenly you didn't mind seeing a fat ass and some body hair and some things like that, right?
Yeah.
The
less polished. People are interested in a little less polished.
Yeah. Boy, she's not perfect. I want to see every bit of her. I mean, one of the things that I dislike the most about today's NFL, and the list is long, as you guys know, one of the things I dislike the most about today's NFL is replay. I miss the old days when your football team had a chance to suddenly win or lose a game because a ref had his head up his ass. I miss that. And when I think about it in that content, or whatever the word is in that context, yeah, if suddenly NBA refs were perfect, Jesus, maybe I'd be bored to death. Remember back in the days in the NFL?
Oh, yeah.
Guy catches a ball in the back of the end zone as the clock expired. He's clearly out of bounds. But the referee, touchdown. That was so fun. They'd show, later on the news, young bucks like Randy Shaver in the mid-'80s would say, look at this replay. The guy was out of bounds. It's too late now. That was fun. Now, let's check the replay and see, as you can see, the tip of his toe kind of scrapes the out of... Boring.
And by the way, there is no conspiracy against Minnesota teams for all you out there. There's no official conspiracy against Minnesota teams.
What makes you bring that up?
Because it feels like that's a big whine sometimes.
I think every city can say
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, no, Brad, there's no conspiracy here in town, but we are cursed. Right? Aren't we? We're cursed. If you want to bring up more nonsense that sports fans around here carry around looking for sympathy and attention, we're cursed. No, you're not. Your effing favorite team screws the pooch when it matters. That's the truth. Apparently, there was a lively affair last night in college basketball between Texas Tech and Texas. There was a hard foul. They're playing the game at Texas Tech's building. And there was a hard foul by a Texas player. And, the boys got together and bumped chests and acted like they were going to fight. The crowd gets a little crazy. They're throwing beer bottles on the stinking, basketball court. It was madness.
Tempers flare between these two heated rivals. Fans are throwing things on the floor, and Rodney Terry was incensed, and he has every right to be.
They showed some video of a couple of college kids getting cuffed and thrown out the building. It was a good time.
Called on Texas Tech.
After review,
let's listen.
We're going to penalize 2 fouls. Number 30 from Texas is committed a flagrant 2 foul for severe contact, so he is ejected from the game. We will also have an administrative technical foul against Texas Tech for the fans throwing debris.
Yeah, they were all going nuts.
That's up on 93x.com.
It was a straight-up body check that kid threw for Texas. You see that, Josh?
Yeah.
Woo, it was a straight-up body check.
I like on the audio, it sounds like a wrestling match a little bit.
Yeah. Now, did you play audio of this, Josh? I'm sorry. My hearing isn't what it used to be. The coach for Texas Tech got on the microphone and begged the kids to settle down and stop throwing.
I don't have that.
Okay.
I couldn't find it.
Yeah, I could. Wapple and I couldn't find it.
So like the old.
But there was a story saying he did get on there.
The old Bob Casey.
Well, I was gonna.
Well, or even Tom Kelly.
See, I was going to go even further back and reference Sam Weish.
Oh, sure.
Sure, Bob Casey, he's the PA guy. He's supposed to have a mic in front of him. TK walks out to the infamous Yankee Dollar Dog night, Chuck Nobla.
Yep.
But if you go even further back, this was a game in Cincinnati, and then this is the National Football League, and this is back when they used to play real football, and there wasn't replay that ruined the game. Sam Weish was coaching the Cincinnati Bengals. And I don't remember who Cincinnati was playing, but there were some bad calls, and the crowd goes bananas and starts throwing garbage on the field, right? See if we can someone can find this on YouTube. Sam Weish, the head coach of the Bengals, runs around till he finds a live mic, which probably wasn't very easy to find back in those days, and starts telling the crowd to calm down. And my favorite line I think he said was, "Come on, everybody. This isn't Cleveland." And the crowd's just boo.
You're not in Cleveland.
Yeah, this ain't Cleveland, he says. That's great.
All right, this might be it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
My God, you're good.
No, I doubt it for all. I doubt that. Sam on the. Will the next person that sees anybody throw anything onto this field, point them out, or get them out of here? You don't live in Cleveland.
You don't live in Cleveland. You live in Cincinnati, he said.
Brilliant.
Sam Weish.
That's great.
Boy, he got boned in big games, didn't he?
He did.
He and the coach from Cleveland at the time, Marty Schottenheimer. Those guys did nothing but just get boned in big games, to steal a line from Josh.
God, you could just hear the anger in his voice, too.
His face, too.
Yeah, can we hear that one more time? That was just so damn good. This is 35 years ago.
Yes.
Yeah, you got to give me 1 second.
Oh, God.
I doubt it for all. I doubt that. Sam on the. Will the next person that sees anybody throw anything onto this field, point them out, or get them out of here? You don't live in Cleveland.
Ask me about, I guess this makes perfect sense. Ask me about CrossFit. Jesus says the Bengals were playing the Browns that day.
They probably were, yeah.
I thought there was more of a cross reference.
It's like a rally cry. Everyone in the end.
Exactly.
Oh, we're going to talk to Marcus Foligno here in about 10 minutes, and I understand he's pretty pissed. So act accordingly.
Why? What's that?
He's pissed at us?
Well, at Brad.
At me? Okay, well, get in line. No.
He's pissed at Brad. No, I'm kidding. I'm sure he's in a fine mood. He's a wonderful guy. But just to give you a heads up, 8 o'clock, we're expecting a call from Marcus. Here's something that we my fault, we didn't get around to yesterday. Even though a few texts came in, and I apologize, just things happen. Ole Anderson died.
I saw that.
God dang it. Original member of the Minnesota Wrecking Crew. Wasn't that the early tag team he was involved in, the Minnesota Wrecking Crew? Ole Anderson, original member of the Four Horsemen. We're talking television wrestling here. 81 years old. The guy died a couple days ago. Yeah. The Anderson family, the Minnesota Wrecking Crew. I know what I'm talking about here. I'm fairly certain I know what I'm talking about.
Gene, Lars, Ole, and Arn.
Dude. Yeah. Gene and Lars. A lot of folks couldn't come up with that.
No.
God. And Arn Anderson. That's too bad. The Four Horsemen, probably the most legendary stable in wrestling history. And he was a member of that original crew with Ric Flair and Tully Blanchard and J.J. Dillon, and our sympathies to the friends and family of Ole Anderson. I never knew this about him, as now I'm looking further into this article about his passing. After a while into the 90s, Ole started working for WCW Wrestling, and he was the voice of the Shockmaster.
Oh, really?
Oh. You want to talk about legendary stuff.
Dude.
A little different than the legendary stuff of the Four Horsemen. The Shockmaster was one of the legendary gong shows. Number one, the Shockmaster. Okay.
Is he the one that had like a sparkly stormtrooper helmet?
Yes. Yep. They took a stormtrooper helmet from a Halloween shop, sprayed it with glitter, and put it over this guy. This wasn't Ole Anderson. Ole played the voice of the. So they big. Wasn't it the same wrestler who portrayed Tugboat?
Yes.
I believe. They put a stormtrooper helmet on the guy, and suddenly his character is the Shockmaster. Okay? They have this big episode where there's all this hype surrounding the arrival of the Shockmaster. This video's all over YouTube. It's one of the greatest things that ever happened in wrestling. You got Sting and Luger and Flair and who else? They're all standing around. Well, we want to meet the Shockmaster. Well, here he is. And here comes the dude. He can't see anything because he's wearing a spray-painted stormtrooper helmet. He's supposed to crash through a door and scare everybody. He trips. As he comes through the wall, he trips. The helmet comes off, revealing this greasy-haired, normal-looking guy. He puts the helmet back on, and then they kick in the Shockmaster voice, and it's ruined from the get-go. There's no longer, and he's got like a Darth Vader. There's nothing scary about a fat guy who just tripped on his way onto the television set.
They had
we'll get that on 93x.com.
Everything.
Oh, they had pyro, and it was just a roadside.
It looks like he just falls through the wall.
Yeah, it was just a horrible disaster. Get that video up on the website. Is that what you said, John?
Yeah. Just send it to Ashley.
I know we've talked about this in the past, and it's fun to bring up every time because it was the Shockmaster. And then he says something like, "I will defeat all," all this crap, and everyone's laughing. They're laughing in his face. Your helmet came off. You're Donnie, the guy who was Tugboat a couple weeks ago. One final note on Ole Anderson. They mentioned this episode from 1976. He was wrestling in the NWA with his television brother, Gene Anderson. And they were so great at being heels that after a tag match, a fan stabbed Ole in the arm and chest with a knife, and he had to undergo immediate surgery to repair severed tendons. You know how these days when you watch wrestling, it's John Cena and little kids, yay, That's not how it was back in the day. You could legitimately get hurt at a television wrestling show. Now it's all Fruity Pebbles and let's do something cute for the kids. You know what I'm saying. All right, before Marcus calls, go ahead and dork out about how funny Kirk Cousins is because now he has gold teeth or whatever.
Oh, his new grills?
You guys fall for this guy's nonsense.
Don't care. I didn't see this.
Don't care.
Nobody wants.
I think there are two other stories that are way more important than that. Caitlin Clark's in town tonight.
Oh, Caitlin Clark.
Gophers hosting Iowa tonight.
Right.
The place is completely sold out. It's going to be a huge night at the barn. And Byron Buxton plays center field yesterday for the first time in 554 days. Doesn't hurt himself. makes a few plays. Says he's happy to be out there. Those to me are the two stories. Clark's visit tonight's going to be historic, and And then Buxton, hopefully it's the beginning of a few times in center field during spring training that kind of pushes him into that starting lineup, and hopefully he'll be there on a fairly consistent basis. So
I want nothing but great things.
Don't care about Kirk Cousins getting a grill.
No, I don't either. I'm so burned out.
In fact,
on it.
Kirk Cousins isn't even a Viking, so why are we even talking about it?
I don't know. It looks cute.
He's not even on the team.
I'm so friggin' burned out on that bit. I can barely stand it, Randy Shaver.
Yesterday, Ashley was talking about the most recent episode of The Simpsons. They took a dig at the Vikings. Here's a clip of that.
Happiness is a combination of Yante, low expectations, Sisu, determination, Sisu, and calcinic, which is drinking at home in your underwear.
Oh my God, I was calcinic before it was cool. Is there anything Vikings can't do?
Win the Super Bowl.
Uncalled for.
Yeah, I hear you, Randy. The bit is tired.
Yep. He's not even a Viking. Why are we talking about him? He's not even on the team.
He's not on the team, Randy says. What's his name there? The GM of the Vikings? Kwesi?
Kwesi,
yes. He said to the media yesterday that there's no chance that the Vikings are looking to trade Justin Jefferson, which means Jefferson will be playing for the Jets or the Buffalo Bills next season for sure.
That's usually how it goes, right?
Or Dallas. I'm predicting a trade to the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, I find it hard to believe that the guy's never thought about trading Jefferson.
I just did a quick search on tickets for the Gopher women's basketball game tonight on StubHub. In the door price, upper deck last row, $103 each.
Oh wow!
Has there ever been anything like this in women's basketball at Willem Arena?
Well, when the Gopher women were playing great during Lindsay's days,
yes,
sure, absolutely,
right. I almost forgot about that.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, but for a visiting team to come in,
right,
to enlist a
reaction,
a sellout like this, no.
You want to sit center court in 106?
Yeah,
you're going to be paying about $500 to $600.
Wow. Damn.
She's a phenomenon.
Yeah.
There's just no doubt about it.
Yeah,
and she has changed and it's not just women's sports, it's college sports.
Yeah.
I mean, she's the talk of college sports.
I'm glad you mentioned it. Because I will admit that I was a little overwhelmed this morning and I did not have that information in front of me. But that's massive. Absolutely massive.
And, I feel bad for the Gophers because they don't have Mara Braun, who's their star player.
Oh.
And when she was playing, they were competitive and they were actually on the bubble to make the tournament. But since her injury, they have really struggled, and they'll likely struggle against Iowa tonight. But you know what? We've seen incredible efforts by Gopher basketball against great teams in the barn in the past, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's been like the massive upsets that have happened. So who knows?
We're talking
Maybe the
men's
Gophers,
and women.
Yep, exactly. Who knows?
I was at one of them. I was at one of them.
There will obviously be a lot of Iowegians in the building.
Friggin' Iowegians.
Yeah, there might be, but maybe not as many as you think, Brad.
Oh, it bothers me.
Yeah.
I'll bet this game's been sold out for a long time, and I'll bet Gopher fans have been excited about this, and not in kind of casual women's basketball fans too. I mean, families bring their daughters to come watch this Caitlin Clark play. She's just a phenomenon.
I agree with Brad Ryder, though. Iowegians are usually a problem.
You'll hear them. They may
Brad?
not. They might. Yeah, there might not be in quantity matching, but you'll.
But how about?
Sure.
But how
They're
about
gonna
hearing
start trouble?
But how about hearing the barn completely full?
Right.
That's really going to
for a women's basketball game.
Yeah.
Oh, it's outstanding. I went to a U of M football game a few years ago, and they were playing Iowa. I thought Iowegians had a sense of humor, so I got to my seat, and I was a little late for the start of the game. I joined my friends who were already seated, and we were surrounded by Iowans. And my friends were kind of busting my chops. Where you been? And I said, well, I was trying to get here on time, but I had to tap dance around all these damn Iowegians, and boy, did they give me a dirty look. Come on already. Loosen up. But you're right. There'll be plenty of them at the game tonight. And it's a hell of a deal. It's a hell of a deal. All right, what else is going on around here? Maybe Marcus overslept. We'll find out in a minute or two.
You know how you can list stuff on StubHub for pretty much anything?
Yeah, what
I'm
happened?
still looking at this. Some joker listed 2 tickets in row 23 in section 104 tonight for $119,000 each.
Shoot your shot.
Each. Why not?
Other big things going on. I got a text here. It says, Nick, you know me. Wyzetta grad. Well, no, I don't. Get back to me if I do know you. Wyzetta plays Edina for the championship tonight, their section championship to go to the state high school hockey tournament.
Oh, boy.
Wyzetta versus Edina.
Yeah, it's state wrestling this week and then state boys hockey next week. So it's section final week here in hockey.
All kinds of drama. All kinds of drama. All right. For whatever reason, we're not hearing from Marcus Foligno just yet, but we still should kick in our cute little wild update.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Yeah, they got beat last night, the Pigs, at their home rink. Dude scored the game-winning goal with his visor.
That'll work.
Which you don't, but yeah, they all count the same.
Yeah.
Dude scored a goal with his half shield.
Way to use your head.
Exactly.
Halfway through the third period, Carolina Hurricanes rallied to beat the Pigs by a 3-2 final. Just as the power play was expiring, a couple of shots came in on net, and this lucky bastard for the Hurricanes was just standing in the right place at the right time. It's only the second? Wait a minute. Just the second lost in regulation in the 10 games the boys have played since the All-Star break.
For the Wild.
What did I say?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. I said the boys. That means the Pigs. They're tied with St. Louis and 6 points back of Nashville for the final Western Conference playoffs.
Nashville's a problem. They've won 6 or 7 in a row right now, I think.
They've got to jump through some teams to get there.
They do, but this is fun because their next 2 games are against Nashville and St. Louis.
There you go.
Good.
6 points is a lot of points. I didn't realize it was that deep.
Well, it wasn't that deep. They have fallen back. Mm-hmm. They were only 2 points out for a while there.
Nashville's hot.
At Nashville Thursday.
They haven't, I don't know, when was the last time Marcus Foligno played? He's been banged up, unfortunately.
He has been.
For the last
he has been.
Weeks.
I couldn't tell you when's the last game he played in. I think when we talked to him a couple weeks ago, he was on the shelf. But I think I read something or another from the coach where, he didn't want to make any promises, but things don't look so bad. I mean, there's some hope that it'll be soon that Marcus comes back.
Well, good.
So again, what is it today? What is it today? Wednesday? So tomorrow night against Nashville. Well, I was going to bring some things up to Marcus, but I don't know. You guys might not care about any of this stuff.
Oh, I like the poll. Is that one of the ones you're going to bring up? Yeah. From The Athletic?
Oh, okay, sure.
I thought that was pretty interesting.
There was a wild player poll from a website called The Athletic. So does that mean whoever the people are at The Athletic made a phone call and polled just the boys on the roster, the Pigs roster?
Michael Russo of The Athletic did this.
Sure.
They asked 24 plus, that's got to be damn near all the players, a variety of fun questions about the team. And, boy, it'd be great to bring this up to Marcus while he's on the telephone, but, he must be busy with something. Marcus popped up in a few places. Most likely to become an NHL broadcaster. Marcus got the most votes amongst his teammates.
After us getting to know him a little bit, you could see why.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's funny.
Absolutely. I could see he would be great at that, I bet. Most likely to become an NHL broadcaster. Marcus got the most votes. The most obnoxious person in the team group chat? What does that exactly mean?
Well, it must be when they're talking to each other.
You know, like we do them for work here. We'll just you're texting everybody at the same time.
Oh, okay. Yep. Like a group text message, who's the most obnoxious? Marcus was voted most obnoxious.
Yeah, we got to ask him about that.
He doesn't come off, to me, obnoxious at all.
No, not at all.
He says in the if you read the full article, they asked him about some of these things, and he said in the article, I was hoping to get his reaction on the phone, was saying that he goes, well, I'm the funniest one in the group, so I'm always the one that's responding with a meme or a funny line, and some of the people get annoyed because he's always responding to things.
Well, I hear what you're saying. There's some group chats, right, where there's somebody that it's a bit every single time,
Mm-hmm.
no matter what the topic is. It's always a bit to them.
Now, another category where Marcus Foligno's teammates voted him most likely, and that was who's most likely to be a coach. Oh, pardon me, he's one. I'll correct myself in a second. Who's most likely to be a coach when their career is over? Marcus did not finish first. He was a close second behind Alex Goligoski. Goligoski got 7 votes and Marcus got 6. So he was close to the number one guy with that question as well. Can I tell you my Goligoski story again? His grandmother lived in the same town as my folks. From what I understand, this is coming from my folks, she passed a while back, but and my dad passed a while back. But my dad told me this funny story where he and one of his beer drinking buddies, being retired elderly guys living in a small town where nothing ever happens, they would sit on my dad's picnic table every afternoon and just drink beer, like retired people should, right? And every day, Alex Goligoski's grandmother would walk by. She was an active older lady. She would walk around the town and get her exercise. And they'd always say, "Hello, Marion," whatever her name was, and she'd wave back sometimes, but sometimes she wouldn't. And like the 100th straight day of this, here comes Goligoski's grandmother walking down the street, and my dad and his beer drinking buddy go, "Hello, how are you doing?" And she turned and said, "Is that all you guys do out here is drink beer all day long?" And they said, "Yes." All right, what are the other categories here? Most likely to be a GM, Goligoski won that vote, so he must be a dialed in, kind of a guy. Worst roommate, Phil Gustafson, the goalie. Worst road roommate. Marcus did get 1 vote on that.
Why? Is there an explanation why he's the worst?
No, but
how would you know that unless you're the road roommate?
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe you could just guess.
Goalies, they stink. They're odd. Right?
Just kind of looking at their locker room stall, too, seeing how messy that is, maybe.
Anyone who played hockey knows that goalies are odd dudes and they smell bad. That's the easy answer there. Who avoids paying the bill at the restaurant? They say Brandon Duhay.
That's hilarious.
It is funny.
Boy.
I mean, and he was a runaway on that. Everybody said him.
Oh, boy.
Wow.
He's the cheap prick on the club, huh?
Is it because he makes less and he just can't afford it?
Maybe he's just cheap. What teammate would you let date your daughter?
Ooh.
Top vote getter there, Freddie Gaudreau.
Oh, wow. I would have thought like Brock Faber or something.
Yeah, he looks innocent.
Maybe not.
Maybe he's not.
I don't think he's ready to settle down yet.
He's a good-looking guy.
I mean,
if it was my daughter, don't think so. My granddaughter, no.
He's loading up to be Rookie of the Year, Wapple. He's slinging it.
He's a stud.
What about Matt Boldy? He seems like a nice kid.
Yeah.
Don't you think he seems like just a nice...
Yeah, definitely.
I can't say that I've ever heard the guy talk, Matt Boldy. But yeah, I bet you, what's his name again with the from
Brock
the U of M? Faber? He's slinging it.
Yeah.
No one trusts him right now.
Boldy was the one.
Such a good player.
In the clip we played yesterday about the NHLers surprised at how long people are in the shower. He was the most prominent in that clip.
Interesting question. What teammate would you let date your daughter? Freddie Gaudreau. So he must be a very gentlemanly type.
Yes.
No one was a popular answer.
Yeah.
Very popular answer.
After hanging around athletes, I would have voted no one.
All right, I understand Marcus is on the telephone here. Marcus Foligno of the Man Bear Pigs of the Minnesota Wild. Marcus, what's going on?
How you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
Well, you're late.
I know this is the half-assed morning show, isn't it? So I'm having one of those half-assed mornings. I'm sorry. That's a fine for me to show up late.
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
We're gonna.
We were just talking about you.
We were talking about you.
Oh, I hope
the list.
Do you know the list from The Athletic, the poll that you guys took?
I saw that. I did. Well, I heard about it that there's a poll coming out with all these different questions being asked on the teammates on guys. So I think Brandon Duhaime got really made fun of on that one, where he was a hot answer for all the bad topics.
Yeah, a couple of them. You're right.
Let me roll through what we've covered so far, because of course we want your take on this, Marcus. And thanks for joining us and everything. We appreciate it. You were voted most likely to become an NHL broadcaster.
I talk a lot in the room. I got an opinion for everyone's comments, so that's just how it goes. And if I don't talk, then no one talks on the team. So I feel like I'm always the one doing it. So you got to keep it light.
You keep the conversation going. You keep it light. You were also voted most obnoxious.
Yeah,
in group chat.
Yeah, in the group chat. Yeah, I like to fire it up, and I like to piss off guys and chirp guys, and the funny gifs and videos I can throw in there. So we got some other guys that are obnoxious too. With Zuccarello's pretty good with some one-liners and things like that. Quick snippets, but Ryan Hartman's usually good. But I'm probably the one that always blasts guys on there.
Okay. Yeah, Ryan Hartman and Zuccarello were the 2 and 3 behind you in the group chat to poll.
Yeah.
Okay, do you send gross videos? Randy sends gross videos in group chat.
I do not.
That's Zuccarello's thing.
Okay. Randy Shaver, you do. You send graphic, gross videos in our group chats.
I do not.
It's poop related. Come on.
Or it's something that looks like an innocent video, then bam, something shows up in the middle of it. Like, come on.
Oh yeah, that's gotten me a few times.
Well, once you hang them up, Marcus, do you have interest in broadcasting NHL games?
Yeah, that always interests me. I don't know. I think I prefer that over coaching just because of the, not to say that you don't put in as much time broadcasting and all that stuff, but I just find it's a little bit more schedule kind of is kind of set in stone. So I feel like something after we're just every day when you play in the NHL, it's kind of, you don't know if we're going to have practice next day or things are always changing. So I feel like something that's a little bit more steady would be nice. And I like to talk about the game. I mean, I'm a big fan of it. I love watching hockey, and I feel like I'm a decent speaker where it comes to breaking down things and stuff like that. I mean, I think that's why guys. I sit with some guys when we're watching games, and I tend to over commentate what's going on. So maybe the guys are just more annoyed about that, but it works out in the end. But it's cool to see what guys are doing on TNT now and ESPN and all the different channels now for our hockey league.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. And I mean, from what I understand from this poll that a website called The Athletic threw at you and your teammates, it sounds like Alex Goligoski must be a real brainiac when it comes to hockey, because he was voted most likely to be a coach and most likely to be a GM.
Yeah, he's just got a calm presence to him too. So I think that's what's great about him. I think that the GM side probably would be great for him because, I mean, coaching too. But he's just one of those guys too that he's grew up with it. He knows the game really well. He's a smart player. He's got a good high hockey IQ, and at the same time, he's not overly excited. He's even keel all the time. I think that's where I would get in trouble. I'm pretty excited at times. I need to settle down. So I'd be a good assistant coach probably.
I think you could be. I think you could excel at all that stuff.
Yeah, but Goligoski seems in Spurgeon too, just calming presence and
sure.
yeah, those guys would be perfect for those roles.
Now, do you want to comment on this Brandon Duhaime being voted most likely to avoid paying the bill at the restaurant? Is this a cheap? He's a cheap kid or what?
This guy, let me put it this way. I think Matt Boldy had a deal with the Unreal clothing company. It's UNRL. It's hats and everything. And he brought in a bunch of stuff to the rink for guys, shirts and pants and hats and stuff just to take home. And then the next day or a couple days later, Brandon Duhaime shows up in a full free 99 outfit from this guy that he brought in. And he's not shy about it. He doesn't care. He wants it. He doesn't, from head to toe, like, we get a deal with CCM with New Balance. So he's got New Balance running shoes on that are free. His pants are free. His undershirt is free. His sweater's free. His toque is free. So we're just like, what? And then, like, he's getting breakfast and he's not paying for it because it's a team meal. And he always takes meals to go from the lunch. The chefs always make him extra stuff. I'm like, what's that for? He's like, well, I got to feed my girlfriend. So
oh my God,
this guy's just
comical.
He's frugal.
He's frugal. Yep.
Yeah.
Like, I get it. He's young. He's saving up. I respect him for that. But there's times where we go on the road, and if there's like 4 or 5 guys at dinner, he doesn't want to go because that bill might get too expensive. So he just goes.
Hey, and one more from this poll, and we're so happy we got you on the line so we could get your direct comments from it. The players who you would and would not let date your daughter.
Oh, geez.
Your comments on that. Who would you and who would you not let date your daughter? And by the way, you just had a brand new baby, didn't you, Marcus?
Yeah, I got another girl. 3 girls.
Good Lord.
Boy.
Congratulations.
Oh, boy.
Have fun with that in about 10 years.
Got a lot louder in my house.
So what would be your answers? Who would you and who would you not let date one of your daughters?
I think I said Brandon Duhaime just because I wouldn't want him to be my future son-in-law.
Well, you'd be broke.
I know it's tough. I mean, I know that I would probably let Freddie Gaudreau, date my daughter, or or Marco Rossi.
Okay.
He's really nice, innocent boy. Marco is.
Okay.
I know that he would probably bring her home at the right time, probably earlier. So I think that'd be something like that. So that I think, to be probably any of the young guys, really, they're just funny characters. But any of the young guys, I wouldn't want them around the daughters for sure.
No, I can understand. Duhaime, I mean, he'd be coming over all the time for free meals and whatnot.
Borrowing gas money.
That's what I mean. I'd be having to pay for the wedding, pay for everything, right? So it's just all on my bill. So that's the thing.
That's very funny stuff. I'm glad that the Athletic decided to pick on your roster of players because you sound like you got some great characters and got some great answers there. Before we got you on the line, also we were curious about how you're doing. You weren't able to play last night's game. You've been missing some games. How are things going for you?
Yeah, I'm doing better. I mean, I hope I'm going to try to get some more clarity on what's going on this next day or so, and then hopefully try to start skating on Monday. So that'd be the best thing. That'd be the best case scenario. Just try to get back next week with on the ice, and then hopefully from there it feels good, and I'm able to get back with the team next weekend. So hopefully the boys just keep going because they've been playing really well. Tough loss last night in a game that we had a really good chance of winning, but our playoff hopes are right there, and we're right in it. So it's exciting that it sucks to be out this time of year right now because it's such a crucial part of the year. But I hope that the boys can hang on and I can get back and help them out when I do.
And we know you will. We look forward to seeing you out there on the ice again. We will send you the forms for the fine for being late this morning.
All goes to charity.
Yes.
Duhaime, and all
Let
goes
me know
to
what
Dame.
kind of breakfast spot you guys like to take out at. I can send that to the place, to the station there.
couple of egg-a-muffins or something like that. And congrats on your brand new baby, Marcus.
Yes. Yeah, thank you. Yep. She's doing well. Everyone's doing well. Everyone's healthy, and that's the main thing. So everyone's the big sisters are pumped. Let's put it that way. They're all kind of older.
That's cool. So how much older are the other two girls?
I have a almost 6-year-old and then a 3-year-old.
Oh, perfect.
So
You're gonna get.
I bet they love
house.
I mean, you're gonna get a lot of. You're gonna get a lot of help down the road from the older girls. You lucky, you.
Oh yeah, that's what I said. I said we got to start cooking in the kitchen here soon. We got to start teaching them some things. So that way they can help out mom and they can do some stuff with. But yeah, our oldest one is very nurturing girl, and it's the middle one right now that just wants to smother her, and maybe because she's too close in age, but she's not the youngest anymore, so she's feeling a little bit of the kickback from Julia, but she's doing awesome. They're all pumped, like I said, with being big sisters.
I'll tell you what, my folks always said they had kids for one reason and one reason only, and that was to get things done. To get things done. We always enjoy talking to you, Marcus. Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys. Fines in the mail.
Our Minnesota Wild Report again brought to you by Luther Kia of Bloomington. We got a roll, everybody. Randy and Brad, thank you very much. Enjoy watching the Caitlin Clark show tonight, and we'll talk to you.
Yep.
All right, see ya.
We'll be back here in a few minutes on the program.
Half-assed morning show.
They're loud, they lose control, they do their little circus act, they're a nuisance.
93X.
Our experienced and certified technicians at Standard Heating have been trusted to keep our fellow Minnesotans comfortable and confident for over 90 years. We're ready to do the same for you, providing comfort you deserve since 1930.
Standard Heating is having their 94-year celebration. They have special offers just for you this February. Whether you need a new furnace or a tune-up, they have something special for everyone. Visit standardheating.com to save today.
Former Navy SEAL Sean Ryan shares real stories from real people from all walks of life on The Sean Ryan Show.
Laird Hamilton, welcome to the show, man.
The truth about a good surfer is ultimately that you understand waves. You're actually a wave reader. I can go to the beach, we're watching a wave come in, and I'll be like, oh yeah, that guy's going to crash.
Is that intuition or is that learned?
Yes, the learned becomes intuition. When you have that much volume of experience, it goes into the unconscious.
The Sean Ryan Show on YouTube or wherever you listen.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
What in the actual are you guys doing?
On 93X.
All right, let's get back to it here. I got to get back into character. It's 8:34. You're listening to the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. You're a great crowd. Okay. Don't we have a great crowd out there, Josh?
It's the best crowd there is, by far.
Do you consider yourself lucky or unlucky? Ashley, go!
I think I'm pretty lucky.
Dana.
Yeah, I consider myself a pretty lucky dude.
Kermit.
Unlucky. If I had no bad luck, I'd have no luck at all.
The legendary Cubby.
Don't know about that description. I'd say I feel very lucky for a lot of things in my life. I don't think I deserve any of them.
I also consider myself lucky. You consider yourself unlucky, Wapple. Give us some examples of your bad luck. You can't... I'm going to make a rule. You can't say ex-girlfriends because you didn't know what the hell you were doing.
Well, a girlfriend or relationship in general.
Okay, what do you mean?
You're in a happy one now, right?
Yeah. No, definitely. But, in the past, I was not lucky.
Not lucky in love.
Well, but you made poor decisions. Wouldn't you agree with that?
Yeah.
Well, we're talking right now. How do you feel?
All right. Yeah, then I'm lucky.
Yeah, you're very lucky. We know your girlfriend.
But
very lucky.
I think she's a little overrated. But when you say you're unlucky, you were referencing past things, were you not?
Yeah, just the D-dub, that sucked, but I thought that was pretty unlucky. I .09, one house away, tail light was out.
Okay.
That's maybe unlucky is not the right word. I mean, there is maybe one thing you could have done to prevent something like that. But I hear what you're saying. You were barely above the limit, and you were pretty much in your driveway when it happened.
You didn't know you had a taillight out.
Yep.
Whose car were you driving?
My parents.
Why the hell didn't they tell you that they had a taillight out?
They might have.
Oh, really?
So you may have known but quickly forgot?
Yeah.
You might have tuned them out?
Yeah, it was like one of those things. I was borrowing their car for the day, and they told me, watch out for the tail light. And
they did say that?
Yeah.
No, okay. You
And you
prick.
forgot.
You prick.
This person says they feel like they're unlucky, and that's from Unlucky and Wisco Jesus.
Oh, yeah.
Who has been unlucky in Wisco Jesus for a long time.
I mean, there's different kinds of good and bad luck, if you ask me. I have had great luck, in my opinion, when it comes to the most important things. My friends and family and the unmatched success we've had here on this program. Unrivaled. Record-setting. Really. Numbers that you've never seen. But I'm unlucky in the silliest things like bingo, and you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I've never won anything like that.
I'm lucky with everything like big that you just said, but I'm lucky with like little things like that. Pull tabs, bingo. I mean, claw machines. I think there's some luck involved in that.
Oh, there's some skill. That's a skill game.
Thank you.
So I do consider myself very lucky. I do.
Grilled Cheese Jesus brings up a good point. In the words of Obi-Wan Kenobi, in my experience, there's no such thing as luck. I'm kind of I think along those lines. Pretty much anything Obi-Wan says.
Those are the words of Obi-Wan Kenobi from Star Wars?
Yes. In my experience, there's no such thing as luck.
Man, how do you grilled cheese Jesus? How do you drag that quote into the mix? That's impressive.
I like that.
That's impressive.
What would this be called? I don't know if this would be luck or superstition or what, but last week I had a rabbit essentially try and end its life by waiting until I was at a point where it'd be very difficult for me to stop when he or she ran across the road, right? And so...
Suicidal rabbit.
And I thought, whoa, this is going to be a weird day. You know, I got this rabbit. That's a weird way to start the day. And then I had a weird day, right? Just, things weren't going my way. It was just, it was an off day. And then the next day, I had a rabbit go the other direction. And I thought maybe this is going to erase it. It went from left to right, day one, right to left. And it did do that.
Weird.
So is that superstition or just a guy putting too much emphasis on almost killing a living thing?
I think you're reading too much into it. But I would do the same thing.
You would? You'd think the same thing? It went left to right yesterday. It was bad. Today it's right to left.
It's an interesting question, Josh. I don't know if I know how to answer it.
But that's not luck, right? Even though a rabbit's involved?
I wouldn't call it luck just because a rabbit was involved. Some folks maybe would have never noticed the rabbits. So...
Or would have maybe just accelerated a little. That's all it would have took. Is just a feather more weight on my gas, my gas pedal.
It's an interesting question.
People like that.
I was in a car with one of my buddies once, and a duck crossed the road, and he floored it.
Oh,
you son of a bitch!
What's wrong with you?
All right.
Yeah, I was in a car with the dude that he did that with a cat, trying to be funny, thinking, I'm just going to freak this cat out. And then the cat decided, I better go the other way last second.
Not the kitten.
That was not fun.
So we're discussing whether we have good or bad luck. 4 out of the 5 of us say we have good luck. Wapple says he thinks he's had a little bit of bad luck in his life. The average person will experience 543 unlucky events this year. That's over 10 a week. That's over 10 a week. Unlucky events. 543 in a year, 10 in a week. Well, yeah, but it's not like big stuff. Stuff that you forget about instantly.
Yeah.
It's not...
I guess... Yeah, I could see it getting there alone just on how many times there's a train by my house.
Okay.
And I hit that stupid...
No...
when they put the train crossing like at least 4 or 5 times a week.
You can't catch a break.
No.
You always seem to want to cross the tracks.
Is it the same times?
No, it's different.
Really?
I thought about that because it became kind of excessive in the mornings on the way home.
They've got a traffic cam. Guys, Ashley's on her way. Get the train moving.
Really? And it's only like 2-3 blocks away from my house, so that makes it even more frustrating.
As this person says, you create your own luck. I think along those lines, too.
That was a quote from the guy in Titanic.
Billy Zane, the jerkhead.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Okay, create your own luck. I can't see how. I'm just drawing off of my own personal experience, of course. That would make the most sense, right? I haven't created my own luck. I've gotten lucky. I really do feel that way. Yeah. I mean, like this. I referenced this job. I lucked into some situations in a big way. Anyway, we experience on average.
I guess I could say the same thing. Could totally by accident, just got lucky.
Right. We, on average, experience 543 unlucky events a year. That's 10 a week. People were asked to name the unluckiest things that can happen to you on any given day. And it's obvious by this top 10, we're not talking about death and things like it's lighter.
Not real problems.
Right, not real problems. People were asked to name the unluckiest things that can happen to you on any given day. Here are the top 10. Number 10, getting caught in the rain with no umbrella. Now I will stand in the rain on the corner.
I have never once owned an umbrella.
I watched the people go shuffling downtown. What band? Oh, you're kidding.
Well, I know the song. I'm having a blank.
The band. What's the band?
Bob Seger?
You sons of bitches. You've never owned an umbrella?
Never once.
No.
Umbrella.
No one. No one goes out and buys an umbrella. It just kind of ends up in your possession somehow.
No, I've never even had an umbrella end up in my possession.
Why does umbrella echo?
Rihanna.
What band? Rihanna? You don't know Rihanna?
No.
Wow.
Well, you don't know I've been shuffling down.
I know the song. I just can't think of it right this second.
Sons of bitches.
Yeah, the 2 umbrellas I have one in my car at all times that I always forget about anyway, so it doesn't matter. I just have inherited them from my mother. She has like 10 umbrellas.
Oh, wow.
Well, she's got that nice hair she's got to protect.
Led Zeppelin, 1979, In Through the Outdoor. Fool in the Rain. Number 9 on the list of unlucky things that happen to us. You try to order something at a restaurant, Josh, and they're out of it.
Oh, that's happened to me at a restaurant 2 times in a row. I asked for something, don't have it. Asked for another thing, didn't have it.
Where are you going to? The local hotel all-inclusive breakfast? What do they call that setup at the hotel?
Yeah, an all-inclusive breakfast.
Well,
or the continental breakfast?
What are you going to, the continental breakfast?
The place in Coon Rapids, of course.
Where all they have is Fruit Loops and some toast? What are you talking about?
Cracking skulls, Jesus said, forgetting your wallet and realizing it when you turn to pay after standing, when it's your turn to pay after standing in line, which is pretty unlucky.
That sucks. I feel like such an idiot.
Oh, especially if it's at a grocery store.
Oh, I noticed, Dana, your wallet's sitting out on the table. We have the exact same wallet, except yours is now $25 lighter than it was about 3 minutes ago.
Something else that unlucky, that doesn't, how would I say that? Something else unlucky that happens to us. Oh no. Tripping and falling down in public. There you go. Right in front of a crowd. There you go. You trip and you fall.
Yeah.
That is a terrible feeling.
I'm notorious for that.
Folks can say, "But you're all over this list."
You just got to sober up. That's all. That's all it takes. Just sober up a little bit.
I wish that was it.
Tripping and falling down in public. Trying to think if I've done that any time lately, and I don't think so. I have pretty good balance. Pretty good at walking. Pretty good at it.
I've got a good friend who her families ended up at the same restaurant for Mother's Day brunch in 2002, and she took a huge digger, and she gets reminded about it every Mother's Day. Hey, remember you took that huge digger in front of everybody at Bonfire? That was great.
Good times. Good times when you can bust someone's chops about that for 22 years.
This person here says they went to a sandwich shop and they informed that person that they were out of bread. They offered me a salad instead. I walked out. I wonder if this is the guy. I told you before. I was at was this in Egan? I was at a sandwich shop, and we were the last people that got bread because we ordered one. They're like, "Oh, we don't have that. We've got this." We said, "Okay, we'll take that." Right? The guy behind us came in, and they had no bread, and just the look on his face, and he's trying to figure it out. Like, wait, whoa. You're a sandwich shop and you have no bread? And the people who could not care less, by the way, behind the counter, now we just kind of forgot to make some when we got here. We have no bread. I wonder if that's that person.
I thought that sounded familiar.
Yeah, I've wanted to meet this guy because I've been that baffled before. And that was one of the most confused looks I've ever seen.
I went to go get some wings a few weeks back, and there's a sign on the window that said, "Sorry, we are out of wings." And I thought, I don't want to get this place in trouble, but you have Buffalo and Wing in your title, in your name. This is the one thing you probably shouldn't be running out of.
Things happen, Things happen.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show.
Here's the deal. 1 in 5 people consider themselves to be unlucky, according to a new poll. And that played out here with our radio show. I asked everybody if you think you're lucky or unlucky. We all said lucky, with the exception of Wapple. He said unlucky. The average person will experience 543 unlucky events this year. That's over 10 a week. People were asked to name the unluckiest things that can happen to you on any given day. And I was playing out the top 10 here before we had to go to break. We covered number 10, getting caught in the rain with no umbrella. Number 9, you try to order something at a restaurant, they're out of it. Number 8, tripping and falling down in public. I had somebody text in and said, bad luck is not tripping down and falling down. That's not paying attention. Bad luck is when a tornado hits your house, all right?
We did say these are just goofy, not real problems.
They're not real problems. Here is the rest of this top 10, the unlucky things that can happen to you on any given day. Number 7, losing a competition or a contest, like when your lottery ticket doesn't hit.
Lost every one of them.
I've never played.
Never once?
Nope.
Like when it gets ridiculous and It's a big frenzy?
Never once. I'm should.
Probably good for once every couple of years.
Never dialed into the lottery.
And my mom always likes to say, to justify her lottery purchases, well, Ashley, you can't win if you don't play.
Yeah, that's even in the slogan, I think. Isn't that the advertising?
Really? No way.
Number 6, a car drives by and splashes you with water.
It's never happened.
No, it's something out of the movies right there.
Yeah.
Unless, people do that on purpose for teenagers.
Ooh, yeah, that was fun when we were kids to splash people on the sidewalk.
That was kind of a thing.
Number 5, unlucky things that can happen to you day to day. A flat tire. Son of a bitch, I have a flat tire.
Mm-hmm.
Number 4, Ashley was whining about this earlier. Well, she was whining about hitting the railroad tracks and the arms go down so the train can go that way. Number 4 is when you hit every stinking red light. Can't catch a break.
Somebody texted in a good point. Ashley, I wonder if anybody has ever had this thought. Sometimes, something like that, maybe it saved your life. Like some Final Destination stuff, right? Where if you were a second earlier, some dude blew a red light and might have T-boned you.
That's one way to look at it.
I always try and think of...
Yeah, that's definitely crossed my mind, even when it, especially anything on the roads. Like, if somebody, cuts in front of me and at first I get angry, I'm like, well, maybe those 2 seconds will save my life.
You really have those thoughts?
Mm-hmm.
Number 3, spilling on yourself. God help us.
Sucks.
My wife is the unluckiest person in the world if that's the case.
Friend of mine when we were kids, disgusting animal. Just repulsive what he would do when we'd go to fast food shops. He would get his tray with his cheeseburgers on it, right? Then he'd get an extra tray and just cover it in ketchup.
Oh, I've seen that, yeah.
An inch thick. A big old tray, like you carry it around in school.
Yeah.
He would cover it in ketchup, and then he would sweep his cheeseburgers through the ketchup before every bite, right? Inevitably, almost every time we sat to have lunch as kids, he would spill a massive amount of ketchup on his chest or stomach or pants, because he's basically sweeping a lake of ketchup into his mouth. And I'll never forget one time, this is like the 100th time he's done this, ketchup all over his shirt, trying to eat his cheese. And he says, "Can someone tell me why this happens to me?" Yeah, I can tell you directly why this okay.
I don't know if you guys heard the noise Dana made, I know, Nick, you're not a big condiment guy. You've loosened up on some of them. Dana has said he's not, and we've witnessed it before. We were at a restaurant, somebody had some condiments. I thought Dana was going to throw up.
They had an entire napkin just piled up with ketchup, kind of like what we were talking about with the tray.
And you had to cover your eyes as if some graphic violence just played out in front of you.
I had to completely shift my body over towards you and your wife and whoever else at the table because I was feeling ill.
You were not exaggerating how much you hate condiments.
That was crazy.
When
Ketchup
me and
is
Nick
so
did
good.
that.
Couldn't look.
The second most common unlucky thing that can happen to us day to day is stepping in dog turds.
Happened to me the other day.
And number one is losing something.
Yeah, I lose something every day.
All the time.
But
Really?
now, here in the article, it says, is that really bad luck? Or are we just kind of like when you trip and fall? Is that really bad luck? Or are you just not paying attention to what the hell you're doing when you lose something?
I'm just dumb.
I think it's more forgetfulness. You know, you put something over there and then you walk away and then you're like, crap, I just had that pen. Where did it go?
I was just going to ask you, though, do you guys have a place for things? Meaning you
Everything.
put... Yes. So do I. So and that helps me not lose things because I know, well, it's going to be there because that's where you're supposed to put it.
Every damn thing, I have a place for it.
There's always like 3 places my things could be, and when they're not there, that's when I start to panic. I'm like, all right, it's not in any of the designated areas. Like for example, my it's really easy to lock my key in my car. If I think it's like 7 seconds, and then it'll just lock. And my boyfriend, every single time we're in my car together, and then we get out, he's like, "Got your key? Got your key?" And I'm like, "Dude, yes. How many times are you gonna ask me?" He's like, "Every single time because you've locked it in your car twice now."
You locked in your car the day after you got the new car.
Yeah, I wasn't familiar with the situation.
Why don't you keep the keys in your pocket, or do you carry a purse or anything? I mean,
No, I don't carry a purse, but because I have to put my key in like this cute little holder for the car to start. So sometimes if I forget to grab it from the holder, yeah.
Oh.
Here are some of our listeners' takes real quick before we go. Our listeners texting in on good and bad luck. And which of the two they haul around. Well, here's a listener who says this is bad luck. He says, "I ask for no onions and I get onions all the time."
That sucks.
I'll show you how unlucky I am, a listener says. Go ahead. Give away some concert tickets. I guarantee I won't win them. I don't think we have anything to give away right now.
We don't. We're a little
here's
light.
Man Cave Land Surveyor Jesus texted in to say, "I won 93X's biggest prize 10 years ago. Thanks again." He's calling himself lucky. He won this big man cave. I have vague memories of that. Of giving away some kind of, right, Josh?
Yeah, we gave a man cave, the ultimate garage. There's been some really cool giveaways over the years.
You see, we don't do giveaways like that anymore because Josh and I brought the radio station ratings. If your radio station is giving away every damn thing on planet Earth, that means their numbers are in the tank.
They need help.
We don't have to do that. But congratulations, Man Cave Land Surveyor. We used to give away. And how about this, finally, for bad luck? A listener wants to know if this is bad luck. When you urgently need to use a public restroom and all the available seats are a disaster.
Oh, yeah.
I can plow through that. Just when they're all packed, that's when it's rough. There's no place to go.
Yeah, I've gotten pretty good at cleaning off public toilet seats in my day. It's not my favorite thing to do, but you pile up enough of that toilet paper, you can clear whatever the hell off that toilet seat.
You got to do what you got to do.
Semen even, you can get rid of it.
Oh, my.
I'm just saying, you can get rid of it with some toilet paper.
Oh,
God dang.
Man, that is...
It's like I said something.
Yeah, I know. Well, why is that there?
I don't...
know.
We got to go.
Yeah, I know. I got to let this breathe a little bit before we get into our next topic.
Because, I understand.
Yeah. Once again, to the Burnsville Police Department, Fire Department, and the community, you're in our thoughts today. I know it's a very difficult day. If you go to 93x.com, you can find links on how to stream the service, which begins at 11 a.m. this morning. Also, if you want to line the parade route, which they're encouraging people to do, you can find that route on 93x.com as well, or the City of Burnsville's website. Crystal Amazon Jesus texts to recognize his grandma who passed 2 days ago, but made it to 91. That's impressive. Our sympathies to your family. Happy anniversary to Tracy and Bill, and happy birthday to Anoka Mike.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show. 93X.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. New episodes drop each weekday. If your podcast platform has ratings, go ahead and give us 5 stars and maybe give our enemies 1. Thanks, and here's a word from our sponsor.
Standard Heating is having their 94-year celebration. They have special offers just for you this February. Whether you need a new furnace or a tune-up, they have something special for everyone. Visit standardheating.com to save today.